Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic A in its community. I'm Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and after a 2-week hiatus, we are once again joined by the beautiful Mel, aka Melarina. How you doing?
Has it been 2 weeks, really?
Yeah, you missed 2. I realized last week during the show.
Man, it's like somebody who schedules them is scheduling them at times where Mel can't come, you know? That's so weird.
Usually it's based on the guests, you know, when the guests can come, you know, so don't you front. You know you've been busy. You just didn't want to do it. You're like, nah, just do it without me.
Those darn guests.
Yeah,
darn guests. And returning to the show, Kasemo, how are you doing?
Good.
If anybody doesn't remember Kasemo, he's been on a few different times, usually talking about PvP because that is his specialty.
Almost all I do, yeah.
That and get banned.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that lately.
Yep, and not ever for buying gold, for other crazy shenanigans, and we're not even sure about the last one.
With how much it's been going on, I probably should have, and maybe got something out of it. But no, haven't done any of that.
Oh man! And also returning to the show, I think the second or third time, Ziimm.
Yeah, this will be the second time. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Oh, it's only 2. Okay, thought it was 3. I guess our time at BlizzCon kind of like goes in there, so maybe that's what I was thinking.
That checks out, yeah.
Well, welcome to the show. And for the first time, you might have heard him on Countdown to Classic, Ubiquitous. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming. I'm sure many people who listen to this pod, of course, probably listen to Countdown also, and Ubiquitous is one of my favorites, and we got the opportunity to get him on, so we thought we'd bring him on.
I'm a piece of the furniture over
there. Well, we appreciate you coming across the pond to hang with us tonight.
Yeah, all good. Been looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right, well, I'd like to start the episode off by thanking our tank patrons in Cruxford, Turtle Whale, and Braxton. I'd like to remind everybody that we stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/BlazinBob, BLAZZINBOB. I want to remind you guys we just changed YouTube channels. It's youtube.com/Warcraft Reloaded. You guys have been great with the views, but it's just like everybody's YouTube. 75% of the views aren't subbed. So give us that sub, help us get back up to 1K, and just help us out there. And we appreciate you guys watching. What else? The new Discord server isn't that new anymore, I guess, but it's warcraftreloaded.com/Discord. If you're looking for the new Kata pre-orders for Rested XP, you should check the link in the description, or go to warcraftreloaded.com/RestedXP. We're going to start the show off with the comment of the week. Then we're going to move to voicemails. Then we're going to do a Discord question. Then we'll see what everybody's been up to in the game. Then we have a little bit of news, and then we'll be doing some discussion on just a few different things I thought about. We also might the guests might have something they want to bring up, and we'll have the opportunity for that. We'll just kind of wing it because it's a slow news week. So that's going to be the show. Let's get started with the comment of the week. Mel, do you want to read the comment of the week?
Sure. Um, it's from Shanice. Yep. It says, I don't think you guys understand why the tokens are the way they are. Obviously, it would be better flavor-wise if, say, the last boss always drops the chest token and the lesser bosses drop boots, etc. But the reason it is this way is to not punish groups that maybe can't manage 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 6 and possibly never be able to get chest token. Remember, most people are bad at this game, and it's supposed to be a casual level up, fun beer raid.
Dude, I just realized this is the same guy that got the comment of the week last week. I just really must like his thought process. I didn't even notice that until you read his name, and I was like, oh, wait. And I looked back at the notes from last week. Yeah, it's the same guy. But yeah, last week we were talking about how it felt weird that the tokens for the feet, chest, and whatever it is, feet, chest, and pants would drop like random from different bosses. We thought it would be just more normal if they dropped, feet drop from here, chest drop from here, yada yada. But I know I didn't even think about his like thought here. Like I think this is actually a really good point that I didn't think about. Like, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think it aligns more with like Wrath of the Lich King drops, right? Like multiple bosses drop, like boots, the accessory, the not main pieces, which is usually your chest and legs, right? Even your headpiece. I thought it's fine. Like you might have to do if you have a guild that can't clear, 5 out of 6, 6 out of 6, you're still gearing up every week with those supplemental items. So it gives you a chance to build up to a point where you're geared enough to take down that boss. But at the end of the day, I think it's mechanics over gear. But I
Yeah.
mean, I see what he's saying.
I think it also keeps people in the game, right? Like if there's a chance for if you just need the chest, right? And the chest doesn't drop off of the second boss that it's supposed to drop off of, you have more motivation to continue going through the entire raid if you're in a
That
pug or something like
that
that.
is a good point too. That is a good point too.
Yeah, I was my first thought on it was if it was guaranteed to drop boots here, chest there, legs there, guilds that are like 6 from 6 the first couple of days, we'd only do 10 nomas and everyone would have 3 piece, like guaranteed, if you
Yeah.
kept the same roster, and we would be bored shitless if like getting the boots was almost the only thing I was still doing Noma for, and I would have had it,
I'm to level my
many
8th
weeks
alt
ago.
at that point.
Yeah, so I don't think it's all too bad that it's a bit random. Like you're probably an outlier if your raid has like never seen a chest token or something by now, or like multiple of them. So
Yeah, I honestly think just our entire crew last week, it was just a bad take that we thought that they should drop. We just thought it was weird is basically, but we didn't like, we really didn't catch on to the different reasons that they were doing it. And like, I think those are all really good ones. So I guess it's crazy. It kind of reminded me when I saw this comment, it reminded me of how bad it was when we were at the second phase in TBC. That the second phase that was Lady
Vosh.
and yeah, and like the majority of everybody had not killed the last 2 bosses, and all the good loot was on the last 2 bosses. So would have been nice. We were, most guilds had everything but couldn't kill the last two bosses. We at least got it down before pre-nerf, but it was frustrating.
Yeah, it definitely was. I did see, what was it? I was watching Zico, I think it was yesterday, and he was doing a raid on alt or something, and they had 3 instances of the leg token dropping in a row. So you kind of get stuff like that too, where it's kind of weird when you have like whatever drops off whatever boss instead of like designated loot or whatever. So there's definitely that too.
Oh yeah, that happened to me in the last lockout. We had 3 boots drop, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah. It's just like, okay, nobody even needs this at this point, and it's just one lockout, so it's kind of off.
Well, and it is kind of crazy. Like, people don't talk about it much, but and I don't even really want to bring it up because I don't want my raid to start wanting me to like police this. But certain classes have a, I like warrior comes to mind. They want, they want leather and plate, like PvP versus PvE, whereas like some classes really only get the one, and then there's also shammies who might be doing like caster and, like, so there's a lot of classes that want multiple of the pieces too.
Well, I think we're starting to get that point in the phase where you can have, multiple pieces of gear and just trade in between bosses. Like, people are starting to really get, the longer the phase progresses, the more people can min max, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
yeah, like you just have multiple pieces of the same tier, just different, leather, cloth, plate, whatever. And right now, warriors are god tier. And then, but right behind us is enhancement shaman, which, that's what I play. So all about it.
No, we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it later, but no, enhanced is on top, brother. Number one.
No.
Always in my heart, let me tell you.
But
Scary.
yeah,
Scary
we'll talk about that in the news though. But yeah, I don't know. I think that they've actually done it pretty good. Now that I really think about it, and I don't know, it's still just a little, I don't know. We say not vanilla, but I guess like it kind of is, because like in AQ, like they dropped tokens, but then you had to add a billion things to it. So I'm hoping they don't have that in the works, because I'm hoping they actually just take that shit out, like of AQ and BW and Nax. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but seasonal, I don't want to collect all that shit. What do you guys think about that?
Now's the time, man. Like they said, like this is their experiment, right? So I'm excited. Like, just flip everything that we know and turn it upside down. Like, just change all of it. I don't care. Like, this is the first time it's felt like true classic in years.
Yeah. I mean, it's like season discovery, not only for us, but for them as well, trying to like learn and discover.
What about you? I can't say your name. It's so hard. Ubiquitous.
You can say Ubi.
Ubi. Okay, I can
like
do that.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think? Like, when we get to AQ and to Nax, like, do you want us to have to collect all that shit that we did before, or do you want the tokens to just kind of drop like they are now?
Personally, I really like the whole Nax, get your token, get your heap of hides to make your best loot in the game. But it does depend on the timeline that they have in mind. If we're going to do Nax for 2 months and then it's like, all right, sword's done, boys, then I'd probably rather see it not be that way. But if we're going to play it for 4 or 5, 6 months at that stage of the game, I actually really like
That's a really good point.
Very fair. And we just don't know. Like, it's kind of weird, because the timeline shows like stage 4 is level 60, and then they've got stage 5 is level 60 content. Do they just mean, 2 more raids are going to come out then, or we're building new content? Like, it just kind of all depends on how long we're going to be doing it. So yeah, I think that we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. It's a really good point.
We'll just have to discover it. It's cool.
It's because I've always found it a little bit weird that a boss can drop me a token and I can go visit some lady behind a bench in Dalaran and she can give me some heroic loot that's the best item for my class in the game. And I'm like, where'd you get the goods for this? How'd you turn a token into my heroic ICC helm? This is strange. That's the only part of tokens that I haven't liked. And that's why I like the Nax ones. It makes more sense. Like, here's the token. Here's like 1,000 bear butts. Make me a leather hat. It's like, yeah.
Well,
it feels a lot more rewarding. Yeah.
It's funny that you say that, because the first time we had Hamster Wheel on the show was like it was like start of TBC. We were in Kara, And he was making the joke about everybody taking their token to the guy at Scryers or whatever, and him just opening a back door where he's got like, storage room with all these different like things
Yeah.
like hung up.
Like
And
you
it's
had
like,
to prepare the whole time.
he's like, dude,
could've
could you
given
just give me the boots instead of the chest? Is that cool? Like, can I, throw you an extra couple bucks? Like, it was a really funny joke that he made. But yeah, it is kind of weird. It's like they have a storage room.
Yeah, like just give us this before we go in there. If you want to be helpful.
Yeah, right.
If you've got it in your back locker, why not?
Oh man, it's great.
Holding out on us, dude.
Holding out on us.
All right, well, we have a voicemail here. I'm going to go ahead and play it, and then we can answer the question.
Hi there, Mel and Bob and guests. This is Helek. I play on Crusader Strike EU. I was just calling to see if one of you guys would have any ideas about when it comes to moving on from getting towards level 50 and stuff, and when we start getting extra runes, lots of runes. What would you say if they started to, instead of like putting in like extra runes, it'll just oversaturate it eventually. We'll have tons and tons of runes, and everyone's always just going to Google what's best, this or that, and go from there. So what if you think about like if you had Curse of Agony as it stacks up, like making like Soul Siphon, a useless rune that no one uses right now, and moving it into say like all your shadow damage dots scale in the same way that a Curse of Agony up. So like it starts at 4 stacks, I think it's 5 stacks. So then all your ramping damage goes up all at the same time. Or if you had say with your demon form, if you could have a charge, but the charge you've got right now, actually, like you can't do it in combat, but you have these giant wings. What if you had say like a demonic, instead of heroic leap from retail, you had like a leap away, or use your wings to do like a flap so you knock something back, because mage has blink and roots and all you've got is fear. But if you're in demon form, you don't have anything. You're basically just a big tank. So once mobs get or anything gets to you, you're just screwed. Anyway, cheers. See ya.
So basically, okay, I know for a fact that the devs did say that they did not want to add anything where you move other players. They don't want a death grip. They don't want a pushback. They don't want like anything, besides basically mind control. But like they don't want you to move other players. But the jump back is definitely an okay idea, I think. Although I think they're already pretty tough. But I mean, things like that, like disengages, things where you can jump someplace else, I think would be fine. But I don't know about y'all, but I do not want death grip. I do not want anything that pushes me off of a ledge. Like,
well, it sounds like he's asking for like heroic leap or something like that for warlock, something like that. But I definitely see what he's saying. Like so, just with phase 2, we had 2 new rune slots, right? So it was the belt and boots.
Yep.
I think they're just going to keep building on that, and we'll just have. I think there will always be a set standard, like, hey, this is what the meta is, but it's going to take those people being creative to kind of break that meta and test out new theories, what they can do with all of the rune slots, And I think that's part of the discovery, right? So, but I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what it is. I think the meta can change with if each class got 1 new rune, like the meta can completely flip over, and one class can be on top, one class can be on bottom, like completely flip.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
they've done a good job with trying to look at to kind of like when they add in new rune slots and new runes, they're like kind of adjusting the other runes that you may have used as well. And I think they'll continue to do that. I think part of the barrier with people getting creative and thinking outside the box is that typically doesn't happen until people are like kind of bored and farming and like really trying to min max, right? Like right now it's kind of like, let's get through all the content and get all of our gear. And then like you will start to see some of that now going forward. But the phases are pretty quick too. So you don't get a ton of all of that breakdown, in my opinion.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I was watching a decent amount of YouTube videos and consuming a decent amount of content lately, and there definitely are it's getting to that point now where people are kind of diving into a little bit of like, oh, can I try this out, try that out? Like, for instance, with mages, I've seen a lot of mages diving into like the whole healer aspect. That's definitely a thing now. I've seen a little bit of like frost mages trying to raid as frost, like frost firebolt and stuff like that. So I think they've done a decent job with a lot of the runes where you can mess around with it, have fun, and see if things work. And people are still trying it out, even though it's kind of deeper in the phase. So,
Yep. Barnes in chat points out spell power hunter, which is something that's just popping
that's
up
gonna be
now.
insane.
Yeah, it's a bit wacky.
But what do you think, Ubi, about like? How do you feel about moves that move other people?
I'm not really a fan because it's kind of like skillless in a way. Like some of them have a bit of skill to them. I'd much prefer moving your own character. So like if you disengage yourself off a cliff in AB, then you just look like a baboon. That's on you. And
But what if you
try to use it.
disengage like a parachute
Yeah, then
cloak?
that's cool too. Like
You
that's
could
all
jump
good.
off and then disengage back where you came from and juke them off with Basin.
Yeah, and it's also like, even though you can expect it, it's just strange to have. Imagine if Shadow Step worked in reverse. Like I just teleport you to my rogue. It
Yeah.
would just be a bit weird and bewildering to whoever I'm casting it on. So
Also on that point too is Shadow Step. I think they did a good job of not letting rogues be able to like Shadow Step up things. Because right now the iteration you can't go up, but you can like say
it
if
works
someone's
kinda
standing
like
on something.
charge.
Yeah. So I like that, even though a lot of people are opposed to it. But
I have been able
it just
to.
feels skillless.
I have been able to think you're on Arathi Basin. Think you're coming from Horde side, going up to LM. You know that little cliff that like
Yeah.
Shadow Priests and mages will love to chill on. I have been able to get right up on that and step up to them there. I have definitely done that many times now.
Yeah.
Also
it's
charge
mostly,
too.
The direct like thing. If you can't like actually like if someone's standing on something like an STV, right? When they like jump on top of stuff and like cast from there, you can't step up there. At least last time I checked. I haven't played Rogue in
No,
I don't know,
it's
like
not
3-4
working.
weeks at this point.
Yeah, it still just comes up with no path available when you try. It shits me off. I'm glad you like it. I hate it.
It's annoying, but yeah, for classic, I feel like it's a little too much to be able to do that. But yeah,
See,
and I hate this on the GCD too. You just
the
Shadow
JCD
Step.
is annoying. I can
it is
agree with
very
that.
annoying.
Oh yeah.
But it would be pretty like really powerful if it was the other way, because you'd be able to just step instantly, do whatever move you want, like whether it be opening up with oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Cheap, yeah.
That's
like opening up with that. I mean, that's how it was, but was it ever like, was it fair? I don't know. I still feel like PvP, I'm still doing great with the rogue.
Dude, I'll tell you what, like rogues are always going to be the best in PvP, just because anytime you get the jump on somebody from stealth, like it's game over. Like even if you're a shaman with way earth on, it's like, okay, I'm just going to sit here for 10 seconds, not being able to do anything.
You can always choose your fights as a rogue.
I know I've fought a lot of bad rogues though, so it's game over if you're a good rogue. I think.
Yeah, if it's a good rogue, it's game over. It's a bad rogue. It's like I got a shot here.
I've killed a lot of rogues on very low level characters because they don't know how to play. But yeah, good rogues, they just kill you instantly. Like the difference, like what is it? I ran into Bobka a few times, like World PvP, and like some of my friends and whatnot, and you're just. Bobka opens on you or something like that, you're dead.
Bobka's so tough. Yeah, he's.
Oh my god,
like, that was fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
but hey, that's Bobka. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah. What is it? I was playing with Butters or whatever on his hunter, and he like almost instantly logged off because Bobka opened on him and like almost one shot him. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm done with this. I'm going back."
Well, and there was a whole lot of priests like asking for, I guess. In MOP, maybe it is. Someone was saying like there's a thing where a priest can pull a DPS to them.
Life grip.
And I would hate that. Hate that.
We don't need that.
I don't need you choosing where I go. Like without my consent, and like being in a group's consent, like I just don't know. I'm just like
I mean, I
don't
can
know.
fear you somewhere without your consent.
People
Yeah,
will
but
troll that nonstop,
people
and
would
it will get
troll
removed
so
day
hard with
one.
that.
Day one, it will get removed. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I just think keep it out of the game. But this next voicemail is a rogue question here. So we got 3 rogues, me, UB, and Kasemo. So let's see what he has to
I'm a
say.
rogue.
Still,
Hater.
like, I don't know if I can do this kind of thing where I get an extra person, but I had like an idea as well as, say, if you rogues are struggling with AoE threats, so what if they changed Saber Slash? I don't know if it's on I don't play a rogue, so I don't know if it's on the same slot, but if you have Saber Slash to do like an AoE cone in front of you, generating 1 combo point, or combo points depending on what's in front of you. So you got 4 mobs, you do 4 combo points at once. I don't know if that's classic, or maybe it's moving a bit too much into something else. Or if it's like your homunculus for a priest, if you put like extra, if your rune has separate talent points out of the rune, so that way you don't have to saturate with having 10 runes in each slot. You can just have, so the homunculus has you stop having all 3 and instead use like spec into 1, and it's like instead of giving 1,000 armor reduction, it gives like 2,000, but you don't get the other 2, that kind of thing. I don't know if you can double up on recordings, but cheers anyway. Thanks a lot. Love the show. Bye.
So let's hit on the first rogue one first, and then the priest one's kind of interesting. I'd like to touch on that too. But the rogue one, getting more combo points for the more mobs in front of you, I kind of like that. But I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I know you have too, UB, because you and Josh just go back and forth talking about it. I think honestly, what needs to come in is a AoE finisher, like. Because we all like tanks just don't have anything really to use as a finishing move, right? So I think an AoE finisher might be great because now they have the thing where you can, get 3 points off of
Vein Gauge or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, Vein Gauge, and then you've got all these things that make combo points, but they need a finishing move. I think like that would actually improve it, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
What if they made Fan of Knives into a finisher instead of just a button you just press for forever?
I would take Fan of Knives if it was a finisher. I do not want it though if it's just like a move. I do not want to hit one button.
Yeah, I don't want them to put it in the game because just like the AoE knockout right now, there's not a lot of AoE knockouts, so it's kind of off put. But there's like a retail ability, I believe. I want to say it's Shadow Technique or something they have in retail that's a AoE finisher or something. I don't know. But they definitely have some AoE finishers in retail that they can kind of like throw in or mess with and like manipulate and bring into the game that they could try out, because that would definitely be better than what they have now. I think the last thing they did for AoE threat for rogues was like what is it, the shuriken toss thing or something?
Yeah.
They made it like, that's like our AoE threat. Yeah, that's I don't know. Anybody else who's messed with that? Yeah, it's not appealing. It looks dumb. I think I had a rogue use it on me, on my mage, when I was AoE farming, and like Hillsbrad or something is the only time I've ever seen it used since I played the game.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird to use it in a 1v1. Yeah.
Bold move.
Yeah, bold move. But yeah, it's not very appealing. Not a lot of people are using it, and I don't know. I think most AoE threat right now for rogue is you run in Adrenaline Rush, Blade Flurry, get a decent amount of threat, especially like some of the bosses, but they definitely need to add something to get a little bit more AoE threat so people can like pump, because I know a lot of people experience this a lot of times where you're like, if you are rogue tanking, people just want to go gung-ho and they just want to pump, and then they pull aggro and you're just like, wait, give me like a little bit to get threat.
Yeah, and it really rustles my jimmies when someone's argument is, do you even need to have good AoE threat when the trash hit's so weak? And it's like, well, kind of not. Like if I've tanked a run, everyone's tanking trash because I'm not holding threat on the 9 mobs that we're just chain pulling. But it's like it will become a problem when we can't hold decent threat on 4 mobs, and you're in Strath and mobs will actually one shot a mage or something.
Mhm.
But I've firmly been in the AOE finisher camp for a while now, because it's the only way I can see us getting an AOE ability that's not just heaps tacky, boring, and that's really still up the rogue avenue that you have to build points to then get hold of a group of mobs, rather than just, if you're just running in pressing fan of knives, then that's just pretty lame, to be honest.
It's so
Doesn't feel
lame.
good.
It did it
Yeah.
all a wrath,
Yeah.
and it was fun for Nax because we were using the. I mean, we had tech with it. We were using the
cyanide
dagger.
tech.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
like, it was kind of
that felt
making
so
it
good.
neat, and you kind of had to do it right to do it like good, right? But then, like, once we went past there, it was just like fan of knives. Anytime there's over 4 or more mobs, like it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, I think if it was going to be fan of knives as a finisher, I'd probably go with like a burst of knives. Like, you shoot one set of knives out for every combo point when you've pressed it. But
Hell yeah.
obviously, damage would just get tuned to be classic damage. Like, it wouldn't be like fan of knives for DPS reasons. It would be fan of knives for threat reasons, or a poison bomb, or a smoke cloud that actually like suffocates enemies and ticks damage or something. Any of those would be much more up the avenue than just giving us an AoE. I don't want an ability that the DPS rogues can also abuse.
Dude,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I mean,
makes sense.
it should be
What you
I agree with
do-
that.
What you do is you switch out eviscerate for fan.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Like
Like-
you know how it
Oh, yeah.
changes your fate to taunt, right?
Yeah.
Like it changes.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
I mean, eviscerate is just the worst move there is.
Nobody's
like,
really using it anyway.
like-
I mean, PvP is basically it.
why not change it a little bit? Like I don't know.
You could make eviscerate cleave for 100% damage when you put the tank rune on, and it would still be pretty ordinary damage.
Yeah, the best way to like kind of work at stuff like that too is to make things do like little damage but high threat. So it could be like something where it doesn't do a lot of damage, but the threat generation's huge.
Well,
So
and
they
then
can always do stuff like that.
yeah, then everybody talks about like we want the tanks to have different, this has been said over and over again, but they want the tanks to do different things. But the problem is the classic crowd doesn't want to like have this guy take this guy take that. They just aren't down with that. And if we don't have dual spec, we're not going to be able to do it anyhow. So
Yeah,
Oh.
that stance annoys the heck out of me, because for some reason that rule only applies to rogue.
mhm.
Like, we've come into the game and they're like, but you guys just aren't allowed to have AoE threat, and it's like, but why is it okay that literally all the other ones do very, very good AoE threat? Like shaman, they're cute, they drop totems. Warlocks, it's a metal lock, dude. Of course, dude, we have a SL warlock tank our runs that he holds aggro on like 8 mobs. Like, we're just pulling the whole room, and maybe one mob that I'm DPSing really hard that he put 1 dot into or something will get off him. But like, he's holding threat on an entire room easily, and it's like, why is the community perfectly okay with that happening? But for
I
some
mean-
reason, rogues have to be single target tank guys. That's
This
it.
is the easiest answer I've ever given. It's because everybody has been ganked by some rogue in the world and just
Yep.
literally hates them and is like,
Yeah.
oh, you want everything else? No, because you get to stealth up to me and murder me. So you don't get anything else. That's just, you're done.
Yeah, I explained in Countdown this week. When you make a Death Knight and then you run through the town and all the NPCs throw tomatoes at you and shit. That's just rogue forever. Every
That's how Pan
expansion.
Rogue is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
I can 100% agree with that.
The Rogue Warcraft experience.
Yeah.
My biggest counter argument to that though is like, if you ever get in a group and people are like looking for tank, wow, we can't find tanks. It's like, wow, it'd be really cool if you gave rogues like AoE threat and made them more viable tanks, and then all these rogues looking for group, we can add them and just have a tank.
The
could've-
great off tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, and they're great. Like they're great main tanks too. I mean, the off tanks are oftentimes, people like lots of times the off tank job is the harder job, and the one where you're trying to get the all the other mobs off. But I was going to say, what about how Death Knights change how their diseases move from like kind of spread out. I don't know how exactly it works. I don't play or have ever played a DK.
Pestilence, yeah.
What if you had something like that for poisons?
That would be really appealing, honestly.
I think
You
it
can
would
run
help
like a
out.
fast build. Yeah.
I think it'd help out, but I don't know if it would change the aggro issue that much. Because if you have, let's say you have a rogue go in there, he hits the target, puts all his poisons on, then he hits whatever, spreads his poisons around. But you have a mage going off the rip, AoEing.
I don't think you ever keep aggro off a mage.
Yeah, even our really good shamans in my runs, like we basically have to kind of kite, like to keep our mage alive.
Yeah,
So,
that's when as the healer you're like, mage, no, you could have waited a couple seconds.
Mages just no.
Dude, mages have always been tanks. We all know this.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they wanted to go like a poison sharing route, it wouldn't be just spreading deadly because it doesn't do enough. They'd probably have to create like a new poison that is
ramp up time, yeah.
Like a seed of corruption mini poison. Like it'll explode on the target that you're attacking for an AoE on all the mobs that you're trying to tank or something. But
I think that'd be really cool.
That's a big hopium pipe that we're getting some fucking new poison added to the game.
I think it sounds like it'd be like almost like an engineering bomb, except it's tailored to rogue and poisons.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because right now there's a lot of high armor. Like it's kind of late to introduce something, I guess. Because number is going to be over by the time they introduced anything too big.
Oh yeah, but, I mean this is ideas for phase 3 possibly. Like I mean,
yeah, we don't know armor values for like the new raid and stuff like that. But
you mean Sunken
but
Temple?
definitely right now. No, we don't know that yet.
We pretty much do.
All my suggestions.
We do. Yeah, I know. I'm kidding.
WoW 2.
But yeah, no, definitely right now. The biggest
none of
thing
these
right now
ideas
is
are coming in inside.
rogue poisons do the most damage right now. So yeah.
I think the main question this guy is asking, though, is not necessarily these specific ideas of abilities. I think he's more so asking, like, instead of inflating the classes even more with a bunch of new runes, what about adding some sort of system to, like, modify specific runes that we already have? Because I think, like, as we go on, we're going to get more and more runes, and it's going to get, classes are going to get crazier and crazier. And so I think that's what he was saying more so is like, how could we get runes that modify other runes as opposed to more and more runes as we go?
Kind of like a talent point system, but for runes. Like, hey, do you want this new rune or do you want to empower this current rune?
Right.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, he made a good point with like the he was saying like say Homunculi, you can forego the thunderclap, the Demo shout, but then you get double the armor pen, right? Or you could go even another route and get double, one of the other ones, which could be huge for bosses that hit really hard. Like there's a lot of different cases
can we not
later
buff
on.
Homunculi? Because I really like prayer of bending and the little dinging sound that it makes when I put it out there.
That was basically what I was going to end with. Is then like you have to give other people Homunculi because it's already too strong. But you guys go ahead.
I just don't like it that I can't use Palm when I have to use Homunculi. That makes me very sad. That's all. And
I wish it would change that too. It's so
I've got a druid that's wild growthing everywhere. I'm like, okay.
I think hey, go ahead.
I'm not too worried about rune bloat when we're such a bunch of min-maxing heathens where like only one out of any slot's important anyway. Like, mate, add 14 abilities to my gloves and I'm still using mutilate. So like you could add 50, they're still just going to be the meta. Like how bloated can the same 6 bis runes be, no matter how many you have? And
but do you think they'll add them to different slots though? Right? Like, because this phase we got different slots. So next phase will we get like head and shoulders or something? You know what I mean?
I can see where we might get 2 more slots. I think it'd be pretty buck wild to go 2 more after that, but who knows? Maybe level 60, they just go, all right, you can put any rune on any slot now, and that just shakes the entire meta on its head or
Oh,
something.
God.
But I think we're allegedly getting braces and helm, potentially. You know,
Yeah.
take it with a grain of salt. But I mean, what's left after that? They're gonna let you ruin your cape and neck.
Oh God.
Your
Legendary
shoulder.
capes.
Oh yeah,
in classic
legendary
round.
capes.
Your weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, weapons will be really cool.
Oh, or your relics or wands.
You know, what is it, Legion they had that with the legendary weapons or whatever it was?
Yeah, yeah.
That was really cool actually. If they did anything like that, that'd be kind of fun, but
It'd be neat.
I mean, the
So
runes don't
weapons would be OP
necessarily
though,
tie-
guys. Weapons would
Yeah,
be OP.
absolutely.
You could change mid battle, but that could be neat.
Oh,
but most
point.
people aren't going to be able to tech high enough to take advantage of that, and that's the part that kind of sucks. Like, because then it's like you're really getting into where you have macros that are changing out weapons. I mean, the majority of the population doesn't do that. We do. The majority doesn't.
I don't
That's
do that.
fair.
I'm
Yeah.
just it's just completely my guess, but half the reason why I think we might not see further runes at past 50, or at least not new slots. They might just add new runes to existing slots, but you know, they did kind of suggest that there might be new legendaries put into the game and stuff like that, and that'll be a shiny enough thing for all of us to chase that you wouldn't go, oh damn it, I didn't get any level 60 runes, because you're getting all the raids. If you're getting new legendaries in those raids, all that kind of stuff, you're not going to care that you didn't have to go do a Skolo run to get a rune or anything. You know what I mean? You're going to be more focused on the rest of the game at that point because there is so much there.
yeah.
So,
Well-
and I think maybe, you know, if they stop adding runes, they can actually begin to work towards class balance by 60 before we get to the raids, because the runes are what's screwing everything up. Once they've got their full palette to balance around, I think it'll be a lot easier for them.
Well, you just like blew my mind. I wasn't here. I wish you could have seen my face because I haven't heard anybody bring that up. You brought up the like level 60. They're like, fuck it. Any rune, any slot. Have fun, boys. I was like,
No.
God,
that
that'd
could be
be
fucking
shambles.
sick, dude. That could be sick.
Chaos. The chaos.
I hope they
Well-
keep with the whole like idea of for instance, like the STV boss, right? Where they had this weird thing going with that. They made it drop this funny item and stuff like that, kind of trolly. So I hope they keep with that iteration they're working with and keep adding stuff that's like funny and just like fun to mess around with
Oh, I
and
think
stuff
they're
like
having
that.
fun with that.
Yeah, if they keep along that whole field with everything, it's gonna be really good.
This is a random thing, but I think it'd be hilarious if they had like a mini game in the game at level 60 where it just randomly made you like you went into a solo dungeon, or it could even be like a 5-man, but it'd be hard to talk a bunch of people into doing it because you'd have to like look at your stuff before you start. But they give you a random spec and random runes when you start, and you just are like, all right, how do I beat this? It's really weird thought. Let's not even talk about that. I don't know where that came from. It was just, I was like thinking like roguelike.
They've done a lot of stuff like that, and honestly, what is it with some of these runes? Like, for instance, I know a couple of the rogue runes, you have to come into Scholar Monastery and like by yourself and like stealth and get some of them or whatever.
That was did you do that rune?
Mm-hmm.
The Scarlet Monastery one for the rogue was the funniest fucking thing I've seen yet, where like you put the little mask on. It's the Halloween mask, but it's like I'm in disguise.
Yeah, I'm definitely
I think
human.
you
Guys, look at
underestimate
me.
the sneakiness. It's so
But
funny.
they're already like doing stuff like that, so we'll see. I'm really hyped about see what they do with the old instances and revamping them.
I'll be the sour one and say that the Deadly Brew and the Shadow Step runes are like the only two highlights of Rogue so far in SOD.
Dude,
It's been
those-
a miserable experience otherwise.
Whoever did those was on fucking point. Like when I did the first one, I was like, this is amazing. Cause I mean, like Mel and I in our original 2005, like we caught up and got pre-bis, like basically halfway through Molten Core, We got into a guild, but the way we got pre-bis, I was a rogue, she was a innervate bot, and our friend was a really good feral druid before people knew that feral druids could be good, and we 3-manned like lower Blackrock Spire, like a ton of stuff in Strathhome, a ton of stuff in BRD, where we just stealthed and then killed the bosses, stealth. And it was the coolest type of runs you could ever do. Like, and so doing that like Mission Impossible thing was just really neat for me both times. So whoever did that plays rogue. And I think it's kind of cool. Like, they definitely dropped the ball on a lot of the rune stuff this time around, but either way, like, that's going to be a highlight for me. And anybody who hasn't played rogue, you should do it just for the Deadly Brew quest. It's so cool.
Let me log on to my rogue real quick to make sure I did it.
You would remember, definitely. Like, you have to go in solo. Like, you can get these charges to blow the door open, but if you are savvy enough and, you can just go down, open the gate, have the guy come out, vanish, and just go back up. But you go through, pickpocket 2 different keys, then open a lockbox over in this other area. It's really cool.
I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
It was really cool. Oh, I forget what I was going to say. The other thing.
No, I really enjoy those runes that have the elongated quest line to them. I think that's pretty damn cool because, like, before what is it? Wowhead, starts dishing out all the info on, hey, here's everything that's been discovered. Like, you randomly loot some item while you're out in the world, and you're like, what the fuck does this do? And then you actually have to follow a little bit of a chain to figure it out. I think that's pretty badass.
Yep.
That rune made me realize how oblivious I am to the world and finding those runes, because between my SM groups, I was out the back there grinding those mobs, and I literally stood in that stable and I didn't even see the start. I looked it up like a few hours later, and I'm like, I was literally next to that box and I just missed it completely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is like, I don't know how the people figure out the things that they figure out. I think there might be a lot of like dev interaction with different things. Like, I remember when we first started, Mel was pretty sure that the one troll priest sitting there at the undead starting area was a dev.
Fishing.
Kindly, he was fishing and kindly giving the blessing to the other priest day one.
And he wouldn't take any money.
Yeah, there's no freaking way that one person did that. That had to be a dev, kind of helping people.
On their own launch day, they decided, hey, I got this. Let me go run to the undead starting zone for no apparent reason.
And fish. Yeah.
And fish, because that's the most important thing right now.
I'm a little suspicious on just how fast some of these really, really like hidden runes get found.
Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you factor in like how few. Like, I went pretty hard on launch weekend. There wasn't that much of the population ahead of me, and that tiny slither found everything before I was even like getting to them. I'm like, how? How did you find a tree in Swamp of Sorrows that had the trap? There's nothing to take you there.
Oh, with that one? Yeah, there's no way. Yeah.
It's like, how did someone find this on day one? It makes no sense.
There's also things, what is it? I found out yesterday when I was deep diving into thing. There's something with mages where you can get that SM dagger, the whatever, the one that drops out of library. You can turn that into like another weapon from one of the scrolls, and it's like a 1 out of 1,000 of the scrolls, and it looks really cool. So there's little stuff like that like are deep in the game that people don't even know about yet.
No, I didn't know about that. That's cool.
Dude, that's why I've got the like Ziimm created meme epic sunglasses, and I'm like, I gotta save that. That's gotta be like something I'm gonna use later. And if not, it's just going to be a big joke, right? But either way, I'm saving that shit. Like, I am making sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
saw
mean,
saw this in my first Noma run, and I lost him, and I was like, I'll regret that next phase.
I think I know that they got questioned whether was there anything in phase 1 that kind of remained undiscovered, and I don't think they said like they didn't know, but I would like to think surely just put some super secret stuff in so that when you get asked, you can go, you know what, those mages didn't figure out what those scrolls do entirely, and you just know that their Discord would immediately red alert and just scour the world for anything. And I think that stuff would be fun
Right?
towards the end of the phase. Like, tell us that like with 2 weeks before phase 3, so it's kind of like a new content drop. Like, guess what, nerds? You didn't find
Yeah.
everything.
Well,
Get
I
out
our
there.
missed
friend,
something.
yeah, our friend. So I'd never seen a drop in the entire 20 years I've played this game, but we were in Scarlet Monastery. A Staff of Jordan dropped, and our friend Table Slam won it, and I was like, damn, I wanted to sell that so bad. And then I got kind of a hint from one of the devs. I'm sure you can guess which one it was, but he was like, I'm surprised people haven't seen the use of that for two-handed enhance. And I was like, what? I'm looking at it and I was like, 3.7 speed. Holy shit. Okay. And I'm starting to get it. And then like, I was just like, And then Table, crazy man that he is, made a shaman, worked it up and equipped it. Like, and now he's raiding with it, doing hella damage. But like,
Yeah, I think I spent like
who
2 or
would
3
think of
hours
that?
deep diving with it. Deep diving with like staff shaman with them the other night. It was pretty insane.
Mhm.
Let me go to my auction house real quick.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
the
where's my
funny
gold?
thing is everybody that runs into him is like, he's swiper. And he's like, no, I have the clip where it dropped and I got it. He's like, it's on Bob's stream right here. I am not a
Yeah.
swiper. But everybody else with that staff probably is a swiper, because everybody who's not gets it is like, I'm making that fucking 500 to 700 gold. Fuck that. Like, that's almost my fucking mount.
In like, I want to say like my first undead group or something. He's like level 33 and he has Staff of Jordan. So yeah, that's that's a swiper. But in his situation now,
Yeah, but it's just it's crazy because he actually has proof like of it going to him. So
yeah,
it's
definitely
pretty
recommend
cool.
recording stuff.
Dude, that's what I do. I just like try to like just be streaming every time I'm on, because everybody will make up all kinds of stuff. But all right, well, thank you for your voicemail. Let's do this Discord question. Mel, do you want to read this too?
Sure. From Detritus. He says, you've stated before that you don't want the WoW token in SOD. I agree, but I think there is a chance here for something. What if Blizzard just sold game time for gold, like a WoW token, but didn't actually sell the token to players for gold? They could start it high, like 500 gold, and see if anyone bites. It would pull gold from the economy without giving any in-game advantage.
That would be wonderful if they did that, but they're not going to, because they would lose money. They're making $5 more on the token when you go the token route. They're making $5 on top of the $15. So they're not gonna do that, unfortunately. But that would be awesome.
Yeah, unless like Blizzard monitored, gold prices and then changed the price according to whatever gold is selling for, they're gonna make more money based on the subs and the actual token.
Yeah,
but
this could be an option if there was a big cash shop. Like if it was a free to play, like this could be an option if there was a big cash shop, but it's not an option for them really financially. I'd love it if they just did it to be cool. But
yeah, I don't think
people
they'll
are
never
doing
make
the Wrath one.
Yeah, they'll never make a gold sink equatable to game time.
Real money, yeah. I agree.
What do you think, Ubi?
Just it's one of those like, would it be good for the game? Yes, but would it let them buy less yachts Yes, so they won't.
Good point.
Oh man. Well, but speaking of gold sinks, though, I've been thinking about this. So everybody's been kind of upset with like them dropping the price of the mount. Like some people are upset, some people are happy. Like, but they do kind of need gold sinks in the game. I was thinking about this the other day. There's a bunch of people crying about nothing to do in the game, right? So like, why don't we make gold sinks? Like, why don't we make two different ways to do it? Long quest chains, or you do the gold sink. So on your mount, like you can go on this long quest chain that takes, hour and a half, 2-3 hours maybe, and then it drops the price of your mount by half. But then all the other people that have a ton of gold, they just go ahead and buy it because they don't want to spend that time to do it. Like, what if you had gold sinks along with an in-game way to do the same thing? Would that be good?
Well, I think right now, if you do enough quests, it cuts your mount price in half.
Right. Because
As somebody who's leveled up way too many 40s in the past couple weeks, and has problem with having gold and getting mounts, I think there's a lot of ways to make gold right now. It's not necessarily a problem. Like the biggest way that's really inflated right now, a lot of people are kind of dodging, is if you go and just get all your runes, even the ones that you don't need. There's a lot of runes that just give a lot of gold, and some of the quests, especially like the
Dark Riders, give you like
Dark Riders
16 gold. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone should do that because that's literally how I funded my mount on one of my new ones. Definitely. Like,
I was just thinking, like,
I do like your idea though. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, like go ahead and throw the STV mount as a gold sink right now. 500 gold for that STV mount. You could do Stranglethorn Veil, or you could just buy it. There would be people
Also,
that would sink the gold in and just buy it.
Can one of you guys confirm or deny? I was in Booty Bay earlier, and this dude told me, or said in one of the chats, he was saying that you can buy the BFD trinket in STV for like 70 something gold. I thought.
No.
Can you actually do it?
No, you can't. You have to have completed the quest. You have to have gotten the drop, but then you can swap
buy one of the other ones.
your trinket for 75 gold, which I'm like, F that. Like, if I could buy a second one for a different spec for 75 gold, okay, right? But not like changing out mine.
I'm about to say that would be kind of a good gold thing.
I mean, they could change it, but I'm fairly certain that Agren had a post saying that he wasn't going to do that, or that they weren't going to do that.
I don't think it's healthy to do it. Yeah, I think they're in the right.
It just makes like you just have two different specs in your bag, essentially, right?
Yeah, well, also it's really good for, I think, the community, for people to have a reason to go back to BFD, like having these 40s that are still going in there, making it easy. Like,
it is helping a lot of people.
People just go in BFD. Yeah, it's just really fun. No one's complaining about it. It's doing really well. It's helping people level, so there's no reason to change it, I guess. So,
what do you think, Ubi?
I think I've started fresh on Crusader Strike since the XP buff came in, and I'm finding like this is one of the first characters I've ever genuinely tried to maximize my gold, because I was dooming that you'd level so fast with this buff, and I think it's kind of accurate. Like the quest XP, but also the quest gold reward getting ramped up has barely offset how fast I'm leveling. Like I'll have 30 gold and I'm level 32, so I'll be able to just afford the cheap mount by the time I'm 40 probably, and then I'll just be a broke 40 in greens. So I don't think it's been all that bad that they put it in. And on I think the reason why it was such a band-aid fix is I'm pretty like I'm probably too considerate about their timeline and development. Like, how long does it take to make changes? They probably sit in the office and go, yeah, we probably could have made like a 10 quest chain that gets you a cheaper mount or something, but they're like, but we're busy. And they're like, this works. Like this same end result, not as cool. no effort for it, but they're busy on phase 3, and I'm always pretty I'm probably too kind or too lenient on that front.
Well, you could even just link it to like other quest lines, or you could link it to different like rep grinds in the game. Like, say there was a reason to do the rep grind in Desolus right now. Like, say that opened up a whole bunch of different like cheaper prices for things, like, and then that would turn that little map into a little war zone too for the PvP servers. It could be neat. I mean, they could just link it to what's in the game now. They could be like, all right, once you've completed this quest chain, because there are a lot of epic ones, like the one that gives you a 14 slot bag, Cornholio or whatever, Coronado.
Oh yeah,
Cornholio.
Yeah.
But like,
all right, Beavis Butthead.
Butted. All right, so like that, they could just like tack it onto there. Like, oh, you do the Cornelius route, and you get discounts on this and that. And since everybody's doing, at least on PvP servers, so many people are doing like leveling in dungeons first and then doing the quests after, just gives them a reason to do those quests after, besides the gold that they would make.
I mean, honestly, as a PvPer, give us a reason to go grind 4 bogs in Felwood and create like a PvP area over there, because that area is huge, and it's honestly, once you get to 60, that's a big PvP area in general. So if they give us a reason to go over there and like work on that rep early, that would be really fun, because people are already kind of doing that if you're PvPing right now anyway for the pouch.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, but yeah, as far as like the paying for game time for his question, I don't think that's possible. And please don't bring the token in. Like, just don't do it. Don't do it. All right. So what's everybody been up to this week in Classic? What have you guys been doing?
Well, as I just said, I started a fresh rogue on Crusader Strike. It's just because, like, for example, I play at this time every week, and this is like peak hour US, so I figured I'll probably be able to find 8 a.m. Noma runs my time pretty comfortably. And also, maybe if I level 3 rogues to 40, they'll get buffed. Maybe that's what needs to be done.
Secret tech, yeah.
What about you, Cass? Oh, Cass has it. We should tell this story on the podcast. We should go ahead and tell it, because it's a little weird, and I think it's happened to a lot of people. Yeah.
I've got a little bit more information, I guess, about it too. So kind of like starting off, I came into SOD, played a little bit for like 25, fell behind, and then phase 2 introduced, and went really hard, played a lot, way more than you should, leveled really fast. I got a 40 rogue up, and then I have 2 accounts. I have an Alliance account and a Horde account. On my Horde account, I leveled a Horde mage to 40, got it up, and then did like a Gnomer, barely anything on that, and did a lot of raiding, like just off on my rogue. So I leveled that, and then a couple of weeks later, I got banned on my Horde account. And I was like, okay, that's kind of off. And then within like 3 or 4 days later, I got banned on my Alliance account as well, because I leveled Alliance Mage. Kind of relevant, but I leveled Alliance Mage kind of fast, like maybe like 3 or 4 days played. So I got banned on that account too. And I was like, wow, this is really crazy. So I'm like, let me check this out. Let me make a fresh BNet. Let me level another account. So I leveled another account. I leveled a priest in about like 2 or 3 days. And fresh BNet, nothing relevant, no information, different credit card, different everything for everything. And got banned on that too. So I got banned on 3 accounts in less than a week. And all of it
Yes.
Yeah, all of the emails said hacking botting. And I was like, wait, what? That's weird. Like, I'm definitely not hacking botting. I'm not doing that. Like, I didn't have any like third-party software or anything like that.
I think
so it's really off.
I've been hearing a lot. I think it's a weak aura that
It could be a weak aura.
It's got a bunch of mages specifically.
Yeah,
Because it happened
also,
to a bunch of mages.
There's a big thing with mass reporting inside right now. So if you do anything that with any of the crowds, especially like the botting crowd or the boosting crowd, if you get anywhere on their bad note, be careful. I know there's like a big mage that's streaming a lot right now that's doing SM Cathedral boost, and he specifically stated that the Mafia or whatever said that his price was wrong and he had to change it. Yeah. And, he didn't want to make them mad and get banned, so he changed his pricing.
It's pretty scary because Solheim does, I think probably 70% of his content is bots videos. But I do like his content. I get annoyed that like every other one is a bot one because I'm like, we know there's bots, but like you
can only milk it so much. Yeah.
Well, like he was able to get in and see what they were doing in like say the one in Storm Stockades. And he was a really big one. Able to see them going through the wall, pulling mobs, and then he was able to loot everything and stuff too. But he was like, guys, I would recommend you not do this because literally they can just like they have control of hundreds of bots. They can ban you in a second.
They have a lot of accounts. Yeah,
like, so and it's so scary that we're at their we're like we have to just let them go or else they can really fuck you, and that sucks. They have that much power.
Yeah. But honestly, getting at the very weird point of the story is so I was on my horde mage and I was like outside Old Man waiting for like a tank or something, and obviously like there's a lot of PvP there, and I killed some mage, and we would go back and forth. He killed me, I killed him a few times, whatever, and he logged over and messaged me. And we were like talking, like I said, he had like another account, and he goes over and he starts Googling me, and he like finds out my rogue's name from my mage, finds out like all the stuff from like my mage from like OG Classic and stuff like that. And eventually like he goes to log off and he throws my real life name before he logs off, and he's like, good night, and he says my real life name. And it was just super off-putting. So I don't know where that came from and what that is, but that happened just before my horde got banned and my alliance got banned. So that's like the weird thing with the story. But right now I'm on my 4th and 5th account and completely like reinstall Windows, everything. And I'm haven't got banned yet. But my biggest advice to anybody who's playing SOD or thinking about starting SOD, definitely do a fresh start. Like delete all your like add-ons, everything, and make sure you don't have any weird files on your computer just in case. Because if you have anything that's kind of sketchy or weird, like from Wrath or anything like that, they will permaban your account even if it's fresh. So be careful.
Yeah, because there were a lot of weak auras in Wrath getting people banned in Arena, because you could basically just set it up to like almost play for you, and it was just weak auras. Like it wasn't even like the normal third-party programs that they use. So it's kind of scary.
Anything that was safe in Wrath is not safe in SOD. I'll tell you that for sure. So be really careful. Also, T-Morph. I think I'm late to the party on that. I've seen a lot of people use it, not get banned, but they're okay with it. They're not okay with it. I don't know where they stand on that. I wasn't using it, but I did use it I think once or something for a video or something in Wrath or something like that to make a screenshot or something. But that could have had residual files, maybe. That could have been a red flag. So definitely, if you ever use that, make sure you're not using that or you have it anywhere on your computer. So
scary. Oh, Ziimm, what have you been up to?
Man, I've just been playing Enhancement Shaman. I actually leveled a second one because I was enjoying it so much. But I'm going to probably switch that one over to Resto just to change it up a bit. Working on a mage right now, just doing the AoE farm, leveling, and having a blast. Really upset about the nerfs that they did to mage, but it just makes it a little bit more interesting to play.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that really soon, actually. Yeah, I don't know if Mel's here or not, but for me, I've been kind of split my time between Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and WoW, and I've been just raiding. I did have to switch. I was running my like 2 different raid groups 4 nights a week, and I had to switch it just recently to 2 nights a week because I know everybody says that they're raid logging, but I've got a lot of friends now that I'm playing with regularly, like doing world PvP, doing BGs, helping them get a rune that they never got, doing STV, doing all these different things. And I found that when I run a raid, it takes a lot out of me. It takes a lot out of me because there's always one person who doesn't show up. I have to figure out how to fill the spot quickly so that my other people aren't waiting. I have to do the loot fast. Like, it is a bitch to run raids. Luckily, I have somebody who actually raid leads like during the raid, but I do all the stuff to like get the raid going, to make sure it happens, to tell the poor people that want to come that I can't take them, because like we have to make a good comp, like, and I take way more melee than most of the people in our guild, like the other raid leaders. And yeah, it's just, it's taxing. So I switched to just doing 2 raids back to back, 2 nights a week, Wednesday, Sunday, and then once a month we have to like add in another day. So it's not that bad, but I think it's going to improve everything to where I can like have like a whole PvP night, a whole, doing like whatever night. But that's basically what I've done. I've just been PvPing on the off time, dotting I's, crossing T's. I did bring my warrior in, and I think I'm taking him back out. Like, rogue sucks right now, but my rogue's almost fully geared, and like I still do really good damage in the groups that I'm in. So I think I'm just going back to the rogue because like working up the warrior's a lot of work, man. Like, you have to really play well, and you have to keep up with stuff constantly, and you're dancing constantly. And I did it back in, I 99'd back in, classic vanilla on the warrior, and I just remember everything but raids sucked. BGs sucked if I couldn't get a pocket heal. Open world sucked ass if I didn't have somebody with me. Like, it's just, I don't think I want to go through that again. I'm having a blast on the rogue, a blast on the hunter, and I definitely can't do 3 once we go to level 50. So I did 2 raids with the warrior. Didn't do bad, but it's going to be a long road to get him geared back up. I'm going to take gear from my other people in my group when I've already gotten so much gear on the rogue. So the warrior's just going to go into retirement unless I get him in somebody else's raid, basically, is how I feel now. And I'm just going to ride the wave as the rogue because I love the rogue. It's my favorite. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
In the back pocket until the MC copium where they had like some weird warrior item.
Yeah, I just don't think warrior takes a lot more work than other classes, and I just don't think I want to put that work in unless I was only going to play that one class. And so I want to play more
Melee
classes
in general too, but definitely warrior. Warrior's probably top tier on just relying heavily on peak performance, need everything.
Yep, need every buff, need to have the perfect group, need to, God, how annoying is it when you have to wait for your freaking warrior to have a rage mob? I mean, you all know it. You all know it. Everybody hates it. It sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
I think
they always do it. And they're like, okay, I'm grabbing a rage mob before I start drinking. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fucking fantastic. You're just
keeping you in combat so you can't drink.
all of your rage while I'm drinking then.
Mm-hmm.
Great job.
It's just, I compare to a Lamborghini. A new Rogue is a Lamborghini kit where it's like a Pinto with a Lamborghini cover, and then you slowly change out the tires to racing tires. You slowly change it from an automatic to a manual transmission. You get the new engine, then you get like you keep getting it, and then it's not done until it's done, and that's just kind of a shitty way to play. And there's plenty of warriors that want to do it, and I'm just going to leave it to them. I'm have a different experience, and that's where I'm at. What have you been doing, Mel?
Nothing really, just raiding. I'm trying to get my quest done to get my recipes from Gnomer because I haven't done that yet. And I'm trying to not be so broke because I'm very, very broke. I'm not successfully not being broke though, just so you know. I've not found a way to not make myself broke yet. I was trying to work up my professions because I thought like, hey, if I work up my professions, I won't be as broke. But then I became more broke working up my professions. So now
It's a trap. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
So now
trap.
I'm like, damn it. But
Well, hopefully I can get the ultimate pull down with the hunter, and then we're Gucci. But I've been struggling on gold too.
yeah, and it's not even like I don't even take that many consumes, to be honest. When I go to Oldham, is that
Gnomer?
right?
Oh,
Gnomer, yeah.
Gnomer.
I was like, Alderman, that's not it. That's not
Yeah,
what
you
I'm
said
doing.
Ultimate. I was like, wait a second.
I
New
was like,
raid.
wait a minute. Yeah, I don't take that many consumes to Gnomer. I don't know. I just am broke all the time, I feel like. Like the other day I had to go sell something in my bags, like a stack of water, because I didn't have enough money to go on the fight path. That was bad.
Yeah,
If
she
you don't have
took
any
a
kind of gold income,
summon
then it feels bad.
right before the show. She took a summon, and she had 14 silver. I was like, all right, I'll pay for it.
He opened up
Yeah, I
trade
did
with
a-
me, and I was like, "How come it won't let me put gold in here?" And then I was like, "Oh, because I don't have any."
I
That's
did a
not
Gnomer
helpful.
on my Alliance mage last night. And I logged on this morning. I went to go try to take a flight path, and it's like, oh wait, you don't have enough gold. I'm like, oh
Mhm.
crap.
It's hilarious. It's
That's the thing.
hilarious.
It's fine. But yeah, other than that, I've been avoiding raiding on my druid. I think I'll more so do it now since they're on the same night than they were. I just can't raid 4 nights a week. That's just not a thing for me.
It was rough.
I don't care how long they are. I just don't want to do that.
I mean, I could do it if
Uh,
somebody else leads. I can show up to a raid. That's easy. Like that's
Yeah,
what
I
I did
can.
all like half the first half of phase 1.
Yeah,
Then
I
all
just
of a
don't like to do
sudden I'm
that.
running 2 raids.
It's
I've
hard
been
doing it one
traveling a
night a
lot
week,
too,
let alone
though.
2.
Yeah, I've been traveling a lot too, though. So raiding from the hotel sucks. That's never fun. But
You make it look easy. I mean, you still do incredibly
Mhm.
well, which is impressive.
Yeah, I've been doing the same thing for the past 3 weeks.
yeah, it's not fun. It's like it's just not fun because it's just like you're not as comfortable. Like I don't know. Like I don't have my keyboard. Like it's my laptop keyboard, which is annoying. I have my mouse. I forgot my mouse one time, and I was like, I can't raid. I don't know.
I would
There's
do the
no
same.
option
Oh
for it.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
I get-
absolutely not.
I get that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
use the 12 one now, the 12 buttons on the thumb. I wish I would have switched to that a lot earlier. It takes some time to get used to, but once you get used to it, it is so bliss.
Oh,
It's
nice.
so
Yeah.
amazing.
hmm
Yeah, especially if you're like, I like to move strafe and everything like melee with my keyboard. So there's really only like a few keys. And then with my thumb, I just have 12 more over there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do so much with your keyboard hand, going so far. So
And I'm
just
bad
adding
at
that utility on the right hand.
Yeah, some people are really good at like shift and control modifiers. I am not good at that at all. So
Yeah, I have
I can
way
do
too much of that.
shift. I can do shift.
I have
Like I do
alt
shift a
control
lot.
shifts.
yep. And I mean, some
Yeah.
of the best players have that, but I'm not a best player. Like I need to cater
Takes
to my
a
needs,
lot,
right?
Yeah. hmm
Yeah,
Mouse is a lot
my mouse
easier,
manually.
honestly.
Honestly, playing 2 different classes, I get confused on like what my buttons are on my mouse that I have already. I'm like, wait, on my druid it's this? Like
That's another
know.
reason I'm not doing the
I definitely
Warrior
done
2,
that.
Mel, is because like I'm just gonna turn like I can either be good at 2 classes, or the more classes I add, I'm just gonna be more mediocre across the board because I have less
Mhm.
time to research, less time to test, less time to practice. So I'd rather like it was easy at level 25. I was able to do well on all 4 tunes, but we have a lot more moves now, a lot more nuance, a lot more things to go, like a lot more thought. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's really funny with muscle memory that I've seen too is I saw this clip of Zico today that you know, like that's the event how you get so used to like clicking the spirit healer, like instantly rising or whatever. He was doing that. He was in a Gnomer and he clicked the spirit healer and he took
Oh
res sickness.
no!
And he goes Gnomerade and he's like, I've been doing too much STV, damn
Yup.
Oh no!
it.
Yep.
That's
So stuff like
horrible.
that comes into play too. It's super funny.
Oh wow. Oh wow. All right. Well, let's move on to time for the news. All right. So the news about so there's just been some stuff changed. I want to hit okay, so Hunter's steady shot now causes 75% of ranged weapon damage. I'm a new hunter. Saw's the first time I've played Hunter. I've enjoyed learning the new stuff. I've heard about steady shot a million times. Why is it not full weapon damage? Like why would you just auto shoot? I don't understand this at all. Somebody explain it to me.
I've never leveled a hunter. more than, like,
You're
12.
asking rogue players about hunters.
Yeah, I'm a Shaman player, bro.
Like
I'm a priest. I got nothing for you.
They do too much damage already.
I'm
So
assuming steady shot was something you maybe weaved in between auto shoots because like your other more powerful shots were on cooldown. That's my guess. But I can't imagine why you would use this if it's not that. Like I can see it's just an extra little bit of damage in between auto shots. I could see that.
Yeah.
But like we have all these other new moves. So like the moves aren't really going to be on cooldown. So I don't even understand. And that's even a guess. I don't even know if that's what you do. Like,
Well, I'm my absolute guess. Like I said, I have no idea about hunter. But if it's doing 3/4 of a auto shot, I have like what's the cast time for steady? 1.5. So
1.5.
you're getting 3/4, and like most bows might be, let's just say 3 seconds. So you're getting 3/4 of your bow's damage in half the time. So I guess it would be similar to, you'd have your swing timer or
yeah.
shoot timer, I guess, and yeah, you'd weave it in. But like you're saying, if they've got all of these other buttons to press, how often will you be weaving one of these in when you're already using so many other abilities?
Yeah. Like you're weaving other stuff in and maybe like the other ones, I don't know. Maybe they don't reset your timer, but they seem like they do to me. I don't know. I'd love to understand this. Like, let me know in the comments or write into us or send us a voicemail because I'm so confused about steady shot. But yeah, and then,
the only thing that makes sense for me is they're obviously melee hunter is a big thing. They're probably trying to balance out and have like range hunter a little bit more viable. But
but I'm just talking about the basicness of like why would you shoot a shot that's 75% damage of your auto shot? Like that's what I don't get. Like, and it doesn't say it has more chance to hit. Like it doesn't say it has a dot. It doesn't say it does anything. It's just, it's weird. It's really weird.
Doesn't every class kind of have that one spell where you don't use?
But why would they change it? Like, why would they make changes to it?
That's fair. I have no idea.
Somebody please answer us because I want to know really bad. And I'm learning Hunter, so any help I would appreciate. Oh, and then, okay, so the big one, Mage Living Flame. It was changed to, it used to last 20 seconds. Now it lasts 10. And it used to have a 1 minute cooldown. Now it has a 30-second cooldown. And it also travels at 85% speed instead of 100% speed. So
what, it sucks for leveling. I'll tell you that.
Well,
for leveling, what? The AoE grinding's insane with it.
So Sardako, okay, go.
Yeah, no, I was leveling my mage, like my level 32 mage in Shimmering Flats, just doing all the kill quests out there, right? And I'm not the best mage player, but I know how to kite, right? But it was still like by the time I grouped all the mobs together and had that living flame on, it was like the living bombs were ending, yeah. So it was like, oh shit. So I was using that cold snap like on CD as much as I could and Nova as much as I could.
Yeah,
it's definitely off-putting, but what the general changes, so it's like it's less of a duration. So what you have to do is you almost have to like use it in melee range, which is really weird because you end up like tanking a little bit. But just do that instead, and it works out a lot better.
Let's say if I was
and
level
having a
40,
them, but
if I was
yeah,
level
yeah.
40 and I had, the actual, shield on or whatever, I can't
Ice
remember what
barrier
it's
and
for.
stuff.
If I had
Yeah.
ice barrier on it, like it'd be no problem. But if I'm sitting there with like mana barrier, it's like,
It's
all right.
not. It's definitely not easy. It's definitely something you have to adapt to, but it speeds up leveling a little bit if you know what you're doing with it a little bit. But it's for the average player, it's a nerf. It feels terrible.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
So like,
it's a
call me,
strange
you
way.
just called me average. It's cool.
It's a strange way for them to have changed it, but it was necessary for its PvP like
Yeah.
yucky interaction where they just cast it on you and you were pretty much dead because it was so fast and lasted forever. But yeah, I don't like that it makes you go into melee range. The only win is like I've still got to level my mage, and I know that this will have made it easier because generally you just do a massive pull once a minute. Now you can just do like 3/4 pulls every 30 seconds with this.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a bit weird. I don't know if they realize like it feels so bad to cast that from 41-yard range when you're shooting fireballs.
I also
Yeah.
think it's kind of like how they're trying to mitigate the whole boost situation, right? That whole scene, which I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Like-
Zaryu, talking about the PvP part of it, Zaryu was like he said basically everybody can kite it now in PvP, which
You can. Yeah.
I think is a good thing. I think it was overpowered in PvP and it was kind of lame in PvP.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that part, I think the speed of it is good, if you ask me. But then
It was
go,
honestly a terrible ability at PvP. It didn't feel good. Like Zaryu probably voiced it the best out of anybody, with his take on like his duels with Babka, where it was just like Babka's like, oh yeah, he's like theory crafting all this stuff. Like, what can I do global for global better? Blah blah blah. And Zaryu's just basically like, dude, I put up Living Flame and I block, and the game's over. You can't do anything. Like, it's just boring. Like this, you're thinking all this stuff and like theory crafting and doing all this. It's
there's
just not
no
fun.
outplay.
There's
like
nothing you can do.
maybe if you had cloak, you could outplay it or something. But there was no outplay before, where now you could actually kite it.
Yeah, and there's this big thing with a lot of people, like going back and forth of like different moderations of people being like better at classes than others. Like rogues using health pot to counter it. It's like, oh, is health pot like considered? Can you do that against like a 1v1 mage? Like, is this? It should be fair because like the mage blocks and then like you use health pot, it counteracts it. But yeah, it was a good change. Honestly, like I like the ability for PvE. For PvP, it's just not fun. Like I almost wish they would just disable it in PvP. It's just not a good ability. So.
Would it be that broken if it just spawned at the thing you casted it at, but it was slow? Like make it even slower than this, but if it spawns at the person, at least that gets rid of the shitty PvE part of this where the mage has to like, ideally you want to be casting from almost melee range to get maximum uptime on the boss. Like, yeah, make it move like a snail, but it actually begins where the enemy is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean,
or you could place it on
global.
like you could like a bomb would show up, like you place it in an area or something like
spot.
that.
Yeah.
Like, is that what you're saying? Or are you saying like starts right on them?
Yeah, I'm saying just like if I'm running towards you and you cast it on me, the first tick will hit me 100%, but then I'm just going to outrun it on a trail towards you. But like in a PvE setting, the boss ain't moving anywhere, so it'll still be a good PvE DPS ability without mages having to go into melee range, which will be a massive threat problem and stuff as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And generally, it just needs to be like a trade-off. Like right now, it was a good PvP change for it because it needs to be in a situation where you can trade globals for globals, to where it's like you're wasting globals on slows to keep them in the flame. So you're not necessarily like pumping damage in them. You're just keeping them in the living flame, and they're like maybe like using globals to avoid that, like Vanish or Snare Break, like Druid shifting and stuff like that. So in a state like that, it makes sense. But like I saw like Zarya duel a few Druids with the change, and they're shifting, and he's like spamming like Cone, stuff like that. Rank 1 Frostbolt, even casting that and stuff like that. So it makes sense, but they definitely need to reiterate it a little bit.
So on the PvE side, Sardako did a video where he tested out, and it was interesting because he basically makes the point that because it's like, yes, it is a 30-second cooldown, but some of the boss fights are really fast, and he was showing he would run it twice, right, in the boss fights that took longer, but like basically it was still doing quite a bit less damage. I'm not actually sure why. Like, you would think that it should be the same damage if you have a 1 minute fight. It should be the same damage as it was before, but I don't know.
No, it's because like if you cast it and it takes 2 seconds to get to the boss before it starts doing damage, you've got 8 seconds of uptime now, whereas you would have had 18 with the old one. Now you're casting it twice, you're losing 4 seconds.
Good
if
point.
It's 2 seconds of travel every time.
Good point. Okay, that was what Cass was saying. You need to just start on the boss now because of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm thinking just change it.
Majors are starting max range too.
Yeah, they have to start in melee range for that cast, and then I mean, no matter what, if it start in melee, then turn blink and run from out there, but like you're gonna want to cast again, so it's just weird. It's weird that mages are gonna just stand inside the boss to get that, so there's no travel time whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear a lot of them are just like swapping the rune out now.
Really? Is it that bad?
That's what I've heard.
It's Icy Veins. I forget what else.
Yeah, Icy Veins. I think for PvP, but I don't know what for PvE.
Oh, Icy Veins PvP a little bit with Frost, and then I forget what else. Let me log on my other mage.
Either way, though, like it's absurd how much more damage the mage does in Gnomer compared to the rest of us. It's really absurd. Like, it's really is.
I mean, regardless, mages are in a really good spot. So I definitely like Zaryu, especially said that as well. Like, we're not in a position to complain at all.
Oh, but they will. They will.
Oh, they will.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
you
no.
worry.
Every class complains about something.
If there's a platform
No.
to complain on, we will complain.
All right, so the next piece of news is just like, we haven't really covered this in a bit, but it's just DPS, right? And you were talking about your enhanced chamois, and if you look at this link here, your enhanced chamois on bosses is just destroying everybody else, and rogues are behind DPS paladins. Like, that is just that is just disgusting. Disgusting.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, and they have bop. They have. I mean, I can't count the amount of things that they have that rogues don't have. Rogues have no utility, but yet rogues are below them.
Funny that tank shaman
are like,
Gross.
oh my god, dude! What, like?
Do not post that. Do not leak that information.
Yeah, I think the tank chamois rune should be pulling DPS out. That's where I'm at. But how do you guys feel about these numbers?
Well, I think the reason why the tank shaman is doing so well is the changes they made to Spirit of the Alpha. You know, a tank shaman can just throw it on, the off tank and have that, what is it, loyal beta buff, the 20% DPS buff, essentially. So I love it personally because I'm an off tank, so I just throw it on the main tank and I just go DPS spec for the entire raid, and it's great.
There's definitely bugs, I want to say, too. I think I've been not paying attention 100%, but I've seen a few people kind of speak of little bugs they can do where they can put it on somebody and like take it off. And so, I don't know the actual concept, but there's definitely some weird concepts with it that like make people do more damage with it. So
Oh yeah, you could definitely set up a macro and change it around.
It's funny because when you look like enhanced shaman, like the range of enhanced shaman is so much wider than anything else. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
goes
one of the
from
harder ones to play.
yeah, it goes from like 14% all the way to 90%, right? When most of them are a little bit
Has a
smaller of
high
a gap
skill
there.
ceiling, basically. Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
were talking about, I wonder if casters can snapshot with the buff on, and then their dots and everything are like snapshotted for the fight, even if you take it off.
I haven't heard anything of snapshotting for Classic with this, but I'm sure it's a thing. I mean, I don't see why not.
I mean, the only reason that would prevent me from saying yeah, it's a thing is they treat it like kind of an aura almost. So
Yeah.
like once you change Spirit of the Alpha and put it on somebody else, whoever had the loyal beta buff falls off as well. And the only person that get the loyal beta buff is the shaman that casts Spirit of the Alpha. So I don't know how they would snapshot that.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of a way that like Cass said that they were like getting it on other people. I don't know. But rogues. It's fucked up.
Yeah, I think
I don't want to talk about it, dude.
I mean,
I've been saying to Josh when he brings this up on Countdown, I'm like I'm past dooming, I'm buried. The fucking casket's there. It's pissing me off so much that like the amount of people that try to tell me like, no, it's fine, like it's just this phase, and it's like,
Yeah, they have their day.
it's like, yeah, just let me be worse than Ferals, Shadow Priests, and Ret Pallies. Like, who on earth isn't going to take any of those over a rogue that brings you sweet, absolutely nothing?
Nothing. No armor pen, no extra 5% damage like you do, in Wrath for melee and
Gotta say,
combat.
they need to do that.
No like extra crit percent for freaking cast. Nothing. You just bring literally nothing. No tricks, no.
I mean,
Woosah.
sound like an elemental shaman in Classic. I don't know.
I mean, you still had so much utility, though.
Dude, I knew some elemental shamans that pumped.
Oh, and in PvP, in PvP, they were scary as shit.
But like, hey, I got a win for you, Totem. But I'm your Totem, bud.
True. Like, how do they get in a raid to be able to then PvP with good gear? That's what I mean. So
I can't remember his name.
Kind of like
there was one shaman on our server that was really good, and he like did top damage in his raids on hard side. I can't remember his name, but it was very rare. Like it wasn't common at all. He was the only only Ellie that I knew, but it definitely was a thing. But yeah, like he got was that helmet from BWL? He got that. He got the staff from BWL from Neff. He got like the first tier from Neff. Like everything, and he was like in our Warsong group, and it was like the most disgusting thing.
Which is like hard to talk people into, like to get that type of gear on those types of things.
Absolutely. It was unheard of. It's like, why would you give a shaman that over a mage?
Is there any other things that like people are like, what the fuck? Like besides rogue?
Just last nail in this coffin is I think something that's slightly overlooked is that like a rogue needs 6 other people to prop them up to still be worse than a feral kitty. Whereas like we need a boomy, we need wind fury, we need all the buffs, we need like 7 out of 10 slots to juice us up to be below average. And any of those other specs, like a priest can go in and be like, I give myself my buffs. Let's just zuggity duggity. That's the worst part. Like you're a wheelchair that needs a staff of Zeus to the ground.
But I mean, you guys have PvP, which is cool for you, right?
That's the only thing it's the only
you
thing
still
that's
murder
keeping
me.
Playing.
Well, that, but like honestly, on the PvE point too, is like what's so you're like lackluster in PvE, and all you're doing is literally auto attacking, and you're like you're waiting for 80 energy to envenom and then like double mutilate, and you're like auto attacking half the time, like AFK.
Well,
You're like, oh, this is my optimal DPS rotation, and it just feels terrible.
and on top of that, a hybrid class, the Shammy, has 3 specs higher than us. They would have 4, but the other one's healing. So if the healing Shammy was doing more damage than us, like that would be fucked up too. But like they've got tank shaman, elemental shaman, enhanced shaman, all above us, and it's a hybrid spec. We can only play 1 spec right now, assassination with mutilate, and that's it. And the tank rogue is down here too. Like, you know, the tank rogue's doing good damage wise, you know, like, compared to, you know, some of the other tanks, but still, what the fuck?
I get a little salty when like everyone has their right to complain and everyone's in their own glass house complaining about their class. And it's like,
Except for rogues.
I can only read Fight Club so many times and they're like, yeah, but it's just not fun. And it's like, dude, rogue ain't fun. It ain't good. It's nothing. Like we press 2 buttons. We've got the worst rotation in the game, the worst output. We bring nothing. But it's like, yeah, but you're rogues. That's fine. Other people are like, yeah, we're really good, but you know, it could be more fun. It's like, I'll take anything. Just give me any of the 3 things.
I mean,
Either
I'll
fun
take
or
boring,
good.
boring and useful, fun and shit. We're just shit and boring. Like, give us something.
The worst thing too is it's double-edged sword because like you get in a rogue and it's like, oh yeah, well at least they're good in PvP, but what do you need in PvP? You need gear, right? So you need to raid. So if you're not raiding, you're not getting the gear, and then it's like a boring. So that's like definitely a thing I would not recommend to somebody. Is like if you want to like if you got ganked by rogue and you want to level a rogue ult, don't do it. It's a trap.
See, I'm doing God's work in my 2 raids. I take 2 rogues in
you have like
each
3
raid.
rogues in some of them.
Yeah, you're running a charity at this point.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm doing it because
Salvation
it needs
Army.
to be done. I'm doing God's work. Like, I mean,
He's doing it because he's a rogue. Let's
Who's
be fair.
the rogue
If he
tank
wasn't a
usually
rogue-
runs with you?
I tried to retire my rogue, but it's just too much work to do the warrior. But still, though,
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard to feel bad for rogues. I really am. I'm trying.
It takes a lot
really
as a
hard.
priest. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'll be
as a
honest,
priest, just don't know if I'm ever gonna get there.
Because
Yeah.
I
any
never
cloth
feel bad for rogues.
I know. It's just I'm
There's
trying.
as a rogue man, don't feel
We-
bad for us.
we are the Robin Hood rogues, guys.
Like,
Like,
you don't feel
we're
bad for us.
we're the good rogues. Like,
Nope.
Yeah.
The
No.
reason why so many of us partake in STV because it's the only 30 minutes that the game's fun every 3 hours.
Dude,
Yeah.
the 5-man rogue
The
Dude.
squad.
stealth groups.
Oh my god.
Actually, like what I found best with my rogue is I get in a healer, 3 ranged group, and then I just basically
Protect the healer.
just babysit heals. Like I sit there stealth. I don't go in, and then when someone comes into my healer, I just fuck them up. Like, and that's worked
Yeah.
out really good for me,
Can I
and
just
it's
point
worked out
out
good
that
for
he
our
must have-
team.
He must have
That's the best
taken
rogue
on
comp.
this strategy after I stopped doing
Bullshit,
STV.
Mel.
'Cause
Bullshit.
You never
he was babysitting my ass. If I had I might feel more bad for you,
Bob rogues
rogues.
on me. Rogues
If
on
I
me, I'm
had
dead.
She
my ally
is
rogues
bullshitting.
protecting me, but no,
She
they're
just
always
loves to
like
meme on
way
me.
down on the other end, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm getting killed, and like I'm a priest. I've got 10 seconds
This
before I'm
is
dead.
bullshit, Mel.
Mel's the best, and Bob, you're wrong.
Where did that
Oh,
come
yep.
from?
They said it.
All right. Well, okay. The last thing I wanted to bring up on this is I feel very strongly about this for reasons, but there's a lot of hunters that are saying ranged hunters should do more damage than melee hunter. What do you guys think about that?
Why? Class fantasy? I'm pretty sure we've thrown that out the window at this point.
I have a basic rule, like these numbers are in the raid, so they are like armor based, but I have a basic rule that if you're melee, you should do more damage than ranged. Because if you don't, there's no reason to be melee. You're in the shit. You're in the most danger. Like, I mean, yeah, you can be beefier, but I'm basically just coming like that whole thing is because of PvP. I feel like melee should always do more damage than ranged, unless it's like AoE stuff. Like if a mage could do a lot of AoE but is a glass cannon, like I don't see a problem with that, as long as they're not single target beating like melee. Does that make sense? Like I think of a lot of things towards a PvP stance, and a lot of people do not even care about PvP, and they just tell me to shut the fuck up, Bob. You're an idiot.
I think the safest bet for them when they're doing stuff is to just not pay attention to the PvP crowd. Because a lot of them are like either
really. I
there's
think
not-
it's one of the biggest parts of SOD.
definitely,
PvP.
yeah.
I think
But
it's just too hard.
PvP crowd is easier catered to than the PvE crowd, I feel like. And there's like things change and stuff like that. And we're like, we'll figure it out. We'll get used to it. If
Well,
that makes sense.
And
But
and I think honestly, like we can't look at these DPS numbers for PvP. Like we can't. Like I think that melee across the board still does more damage in PvP right now than range does, single target.
I don't know,
Besides,
man.
You can't tell because of the only numbers we have are Gnomer, but Gnomer has a ton more armor, right? So like we can't really tell. But that's my basic thought, is that like if you're in the shit, you should do more damage. If you're out of the shit, you should do less.
yeah, that definitely makes sense.
No.
My biggest thing is like melee hunters being on top of rogues. It's like a range class doing melee damage and then it's beating a melee.
Dude, and you could really
Right.
fuck some shit up.
And they're
in PvP
spamming
on the hunter.
one button.
There are so many fights where melee just have to stand there and ranged are like running around like a chicken with their head cut off.
I'm talking
Like,
PvP.
don't
I'm
act
talking
like-
PvP. I'm talking PvP.
Fine.
I mean, does anybody have an argument that like range should be better ever in, like more damage ever in PvP?
in
Yes,
PvP.
because range typically have a lot less health. So range, it's like if you can get to them, you're probably going to be able to kill them.
I mean that.
And
I mean,
melee
that's an
typically have a
argument.
lot more
I think
health.
That's
their
an argument.
abilities, like in general, in a like completely unbiased stance, I think in general their abilities should do more damage because it's cast time versus like you pressing a global. But
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
good point too.
right, so it makes sense in that stance. But I don't know.
I find like PvP is just hard because what are you talking about when you're talking PvP? Are we talking about
It's
duels in
super
a vacuum?
situational.
You know, is it 3v3? Is it BGs? Like, why does this class dominate BGs compared to others?
Is it
like,
a boom camp
and when-
minus
Stuns.
3? Is it a
when you-
rogue?
Yeah,
Yeah, when you
rogues
look
is
at
all
the
stuns,
bridge.
right?
when you look at a duel, like in dueling in classic and even in sword, I think it'll be like mages, shadow priests, and warlocks are really like quite dominant, and the only class that has a chance against everyone is rogue, and that's how it's always been. But other than that, it does get pretty rock paper scissors. But those three casters have actually smashed 1v1s forever. Like, so clearly there can't be that much too wrong with casters. Like, if those three are probably three of the best 4 specs ever in dueling.
Yeah, I'd say dueling Locke is the best in real, like straight up vanilla ever. Locke is the absolute like masterclass dueling class.
Yeah.
So based on the recent tourney, they banned meta lock from a lot of 1v1s. So that's a
which is
big
just
thing.
Boring.
Yeah, it's just boring. They just spam, like they put up Drain Life and they just spam Searing Pain. So like meta lock's banned in a lot of 1v1s for that. The big outcomers from the tourney have always been recently with Boomies and then Shadow Priest, obviously. Just from the outspurt damage. Rogues have been coming up. I forget what else. Mainly just like Shadow Priest, Boomy, to be honest.
It's like, what do? Do you balance mage around what Zico and Zaru do with it, or do you balance it around old mate that's just 60 passing mage in Noma? Because
Exactly, yeah.
very differently, and it's just impossible. I always just say, like, just balance the game around raids, and whatever happens in duels just happens in duels. Like,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that.
balance around the general player base, ignore the high skill ceiling
And
where
if-
everybody else is at, honestly.
And if you balance
unless
it, sorry, go ahead.
sorry, you go.
No, you.
I was just gonna say like that. It's kind of like why arenas are so like tantalizing, because you can kind of tune things to work differently in an arena system, and the combinations can blur lines a lot more than in a dueling. But again, it's like then you just PvP gets balanced around arena, and that pisses off some of the player base and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you make a, I think I'm on your side, balancing raids so that at least people can get the items they need to PvP, right? Like balance so that everybody can get into a raid to get the items that they need for it, right?
yeah.
I like that. Ziimm looks very mad right now. Are you okay, Ziimm?
I just got wrecked by a hunter. No big deal.
I was just looking at you and
Did
you
he
look
melee
so
you to death,
fucking
dude?
pissed.
At least it wasn't a rogue.
I was
At
like,
least it wasn't a
did I
rogue.
say something wrong, Ziimm? I'm sorry.
I mean, he was meleeing. It was
No.
basically a rogue.
Oh
it was
shit,
a,
man!
It was a melee hunter.
I saw
And-
the resting "I will fucking kill
Knew
you"
it.
face
I
right
knew
there.
it.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, okay, so but my whole point was like you could balance raids, you know, and I think that's what they've done here in Gnomer, and I think that's why casters are so much on top, is because they balanced it in a way by bringing up armor, bringing down melee classes, and letting them have that. It's just like all the melee classes are bitching now because they don't, like, they can only see the damage in raids and only see the damage in raids via Warcraft logs, which sucks because they take damage out. Like, it's a horrible way to like gauge your class. But that's all we have.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if we had more numbers from Blizzard and stuff. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, it's just hard to like really
I think they're definitely
gauge
working on
what's
it.
going on.
They're just really slow at it at this point, because like the community is definitely always going to be ahead of them because we care more and we're like have more time. Obviously, you have these people who are like working around the clock to like make the game more fun for themselves and other people and whatnot. So,
And Josh
I'm hard
Corbett's
working at that.
gonna kill me for saying this, but it's just the you know, classic plus beta right now, right? So
That's a fucking hard
Josh
take.
is gonna be upset
That's
with
a
me.
hard
Sorry,
take.
Josh. No, I've no idea.
Yeah.
It's
All right,
a season of development for me.
Season of what?
Season of development for Classic Plus.
Yeah.
Sod.
It's the same concept, right? Solid, yeah. Season development, yeah.
I know. I'm having a blast doing it though. Although I will say, it's been great that they've made so many changes to classes as it goes on, because it's made me literally not give a flying shit about parses. Anybody that talks about their parse, I'm like, dude, the classes change weekly. The fuck are you talking about your parse? Who the fuck cares? Like,
Oh, okay. I'm happy I'm not the only one, because every time I see a group like, hey, looking for more for Gnome or checking logs, I'm like, yeah, okay.
wait, well, okay. And
You're like, let me go look at that, see what I'm signing up for.
I
Hold
will
on.
hit on that. Okay, so when I have to bring a pug in, I do this, okay? I do look them up on logs, but I look for green. As long as they're green, I know that they know the fights. Green and 6 of 6. And if they're
I
not,
think 6 of 6, yeah.
yeah, if they're not, I just ask him, hey, is this and all? Do you have another? And honestly, I have done it twice now. I have taken someone who has not done it once at all yet. And like, we take a little bit of extra time to explain the fight to them. Like, and that doesn't matter. But you take 8 of those guys and you are fucked. Like, if you're like, if you're like trying to build a pug from the ground up, I can understand why these guys look up stuff. But I don't think the normal people are looking for even purple. Like, they're looking for green. But if they see you have a 12 average parse and you've only gotten through the first 2 bosses, like, that's a red flag, right? So, but I still take people. I think
6 out of 6.
Yeah, I think people miss, like, there are dumbasses that are like looking for like that think they're awesome and are looking for like really good parsers because they want to bring their own parse up. There is that, but I think a lot of people are just looking to not have a 5-hour raid, because as soon as one person leaves your raid, you are in deep shit, because it's going to take you 45 minutes to talk somebody into coming to a half of a raid that's worth a shit, definitely. Right?
Well, that's been all of Warcraft, right? Every time, even the 40-man raids, it didn't matter as much then, but if you lost 2 or 3 people, you were kind of like, oh, fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and now it's just more prevalent. It's like, oh, hey, we lost 1 DPS. So like that actually means a lot more now. But
Well,
I get it. Like,
I've been doing the thing where I just pick up all of the loot, and we don't do the loot until the end. Like, I do double S
That's the best
SR,
way.
but even if I was doing rolls, I would just grab the loot. We'll do it at the end. If we decide as a group we cannot do this, which isn't going to happen with us, but like if it was a pug, like if it was me making a full pug and we decide as a group, okay, we can't do this, we're not going to do this, then at that point I would roll the loot off. But I am going to hold that shit. You ain't getting shit free until we as a group decide we're done.
Yeah,
I think
sense.
that's what everybody should do now.
Well, I think that's what everyone has to do now because there's no GDKPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, too, like gear and stuff like that, and like logs don't matter too much. My Alliance Priest that I leveled before I got banned, I did a Gnomer. It was like a Doomer run, like last minute before the reset, and we did a 6 out of 6, and I was in Dead Mines gear. Like at least 4 or 5 out of my pieces were from Dead Mines, and
I mean,
we
honestly,
healed every fight.
Yeah, honestly, it's just people knowing how to do the fight is all you need. I mean, the first clear we did,
mechanics,
the
all
first
mechanics,
clear
baby.
we did of Gnomer, we had 2 heals, 2 ranged, no luck, and 6, a tank and 5 melee. One of the melee wasn't even getting Wind Fury. And we were able to have melee run click buttons when needed. We were able to do it because, we could do it. And yeah, our parses probably looked like horrible hell.
On the first boss, I'm pretty sure 4 people got knocked off the first push off. Right?
Six. We our first Gnomer, we 4-manned from the very first knockout. We 4-manned the fucking boss. 1 heal, 2 melee DPS, and 1 tank. And we just it took a little bit longer, but we did it.
The healer that did not get booped off was
Yeah, I mean, it's just this is just mechanics, and
my parse was probably shit. My
give up on the parse.
Probably shit.
Yeah, just give, if they're changing every week, your parse means jack diddly shit.
Yeah, nobody cares.
It really does. There's no way Warcraft Logs is setting it up to where they're going to show you. You'd have to look at 1 week at a time. And
what's that thing, too?
Not the way parses work. And it's just, just don't even look at it.
Add-on? The add-on they got super perma-banned or whatever recently, or showing people mouse over. You can mouse over somebody and see their logs. It was so toxic.
Well, and that isn't even what. Yeah, it's dumb. It's really dumb. And anybody who really wants to parse 99s, you're not going to do it unless you're in a group where everybody gets every single buff. Everybody gets you get the exact perfect group. There's different ways to make a perfect group. You can go triple warrior, feral druid. You can go heavy caster. I mean, rogue's not really in any of them. If you want to, if there's a rogue, you're probably not parsing. And
another reason not to take rogues, apparently.
But who the fuck cares? We're having a good time. I don't know. It's just the parsing thing right now is freaking silly, stupid.
Thankfully.
Yeah, it's silly, dumb. And so, I mean, it's been silly, dumb forever.
We've got a few guys that are trying to go pretty sweaty, like from, I guess it's just how we play, but I've personally, just because it's 10-man, it's like you don't even have a good raid comp every single time unless you're really forcing it. Like we just take whoever signs up, and some guys 99, other people don't give a toss and 60 pass or whatever. And we're one healing, one tanking the whole thing now, which makes it a bit more easy. Now you're not ruining someone's night because they have to off tank 2 bosses or 3 bosses, whatever.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
it's me. I'll probably go back to being a bit of a tryhard when 20-mans come in, because you'll actually. I'm hoping that the boss fights will be better raid comp. You'll have more options for party buffs potentially if we see a few more added. Depends if we're getting too many or not, but yeah, 20-mans is when I'll actually give a shit, to be honest.
Well, and that's when, like, I'll tell you, like, I'll be down to, like, have a tuned in a try-hard group. I am not running a try-hard group for my raid. My raid is going to be casual, period. Like, you're expected, like, if DMF is in Thunder Bluff, yeah, you better fucking come with it, because that's lazy if you're not. Like, you're Boone, you better come with it. Like, any resist pots, you better come with it. But, like, anything else besides that, like, I don't give a shit. But I am down for another character to join somebody else's group where they're doing all the work, like, and I will come with every consume in the fucking book. Like, I am down for that.
I'm curious when you solo heal, what healer usually do you take?
We have a priest, but we also have a
I think
shadow
it's priest. Yeah.
So
Shadow
if you
priest make it really easy.
If you solo heal, does your booby still life bloom and stuff?
Wild growth.
Wild growth.
Our priests are pretty like a pair of weapons, and the shadow priest is doing a decent job. And we've got a SL meta lock tank who, like, he takes less damage from like all of Menagerie than I do from just off tanking one off the side. Like, it's just dumb.
Jesus, yeah.
Interesting. See, we've seen our rogue tank compared to our chamois tank takes like no damage, no damage, no damage, and then all of a sudden a lot of damage. But then for the most part, just no damage.
I think people are sleeping on armor pots, to be honest. Our meta lock goes ham. Like, you look at his buff bar and it's like it's 2019 again. He's just kills with every pot, every consume, every buff, and then he just walks
3 rows of buffs, yeah.
It's like, it's not even hard for our one healer. That's how little damage he seems to take.
Yeah, a lot of people sleep on consumes too. It's a cool thing and an unfortunate thing for the casual players. Like, I mean, I know all the consumes, and like, I'm considering like getting a weak aura that's going to remind me of my consumes, because I just completely always forget 1 or 2
immediately on my rogue because I forgot so much.
Yeah, I'm just like, I forgot Thistle Tea this time. Oh, I forgot this time. Oh,
Shadow, Thistle Tea. You have like the spell power thing. You have like chili. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's nuts. All right, well, here we're gonna move on to.
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
All right. So, chat, everybody who's here with us live, I'm going to post this link here. This link will be in the show notes as well. This is something a user pointed me to. He was telling me that that ironforge.pro was not a great way to gauge population, and that this was better, because ironforge.pro just shows people who have raided and also had at least one person in their group logging to Warcraft logs, which turns out a lot of people don't do.
Especially in SOD, I would imagine, you know.
But this is interesting what we've like what I saw here. So the way they do this is they use the add-on that scans. I know you guys have seen that. It's been around for like a year and a half or so now. And they just like, they take unique names and they just constantly log with different characters and then put it, then, you know, mesh it all together in a big database. But there's a lot more people. Like on each server, it's like each server has more people on it than you see raiders on the entirety of SOD. Like if you look at Ironforge.pro, like Ironforge.pro, the entire raiding scene is 311,000 people. Then you look at these, and just Crusader Strike US has that amount of people.
This is all levels, right? So like everybody's bank alt, everybody's.
I think so. I was trying to look in to see if there's like a threshold to like level or something. Like I haven't seen if I can do that. It'd be great to see 40s, but at the same time, there's probably a lot of people who aren't 40. And then also, how many of these are bots? It's a very interesting
That's
look
a very good concept, yeah.
like the amount of people that are on each server or bots on each server. It kind of just blew my mind that there was a site like this.
Interesting.
I think it's great. I mean, it gives you an accurate depiction of what's on your server. Because for the longest time, I thought Lone Wolf US, that's what I play on, was like mostly 70-30 alliance. Because I'm on the Horde side, and it just feels like everywhere I go, I'm getting, dunked on.
Nope. It's just you.
Yeah, now it's just 50-50. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm the scrub. Got it.
It's just me.
Like,
I'm the
actually, I think
problem.
this site is very inaccurate. So,
Yeah, this site
obviously
actually, Ironforge Pro, it's nice. It's nice to look at, and I appreciate the numbers and the statistics, and it makes me feel a little bit, in this situation, worse about my play. It just makes me want to be better, right?
Well, you bring up okay, this is kind of a side tangent, but I absolutely I've been playing Crusader Strike here from the start. We've had really 50-50 faction balance, and it's great because it feels like back in 2004, 2005. Like you didn't always attack the other faction immediately. The times that happens on servers that are 70-30, 80-20. Like if you're in control, you always attack immediately. But I'm running around Assad in Badlands, and I went and got a rune with my warrior the other day. In Badlands, I got the Wandering Swordsman, and then this alliance comes trotting up, warrior, and waves after I'd he came up and I was halfway through, and he could have jumped. He could have jumped me, and I would have died. He would have got the kill on the guy. Only had to do half of the damage, but instead he stopped. He let he didn't help me, but he let the 1v1 happen, and then afterwards he waved and went on to go fight it on his own. And I would gave him a salute, but we chose not to fight each other. Whereas it's really cool how that choice happens on a 50-50 server, where it does not happen on a server that is dominated, because there's a risk to opening up a fight. He wants to go fight his rune. Does he really want to mess with now you can call friends in? It's a really cool
that's
thing
what I tell
going
Bob.
on.
He's like, we should kill this person, and I was like, we're gonna have to be here for the next 30 minutes. I don't really want to start a war right now.
You're talking about drunk Bob is very zug.
It reflects in the server pop, I'll tell you that, because as somebody who's been leveling multiple mages and AoE grinding a lot, you run into a lot of people who are where do I go have fun? Where do I go like gank people? Well, where's the AoE mage spot? Let me just go gank clothies, especially as like rogues and stuff like that. So I've ran into a lot of that and like people just like ganking and whatnot. I had a lot of iterations of that. One of the most recent ones I was in Wrathly Highlands, and I was on my Alliance account. I ran over my Horde account to like a safe spot, but then a Raptor aggroed me. I had Alliance pull the Raptor. They hibernated the Raptor and like just kept it hibernated for me and like just CC'd it for me until like I got back and like all tabbed over and I'm like, what's going on? And they were dancing with me and with the hibernated Raptor that was like would have killed me if they didn't hibernate it. So you get like weird iterations like that. It's super fun.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like even I play on Level US, which is a PvP server, right? And every now and then, like it's usually a fight on site every time I see the other faction, which is something I really enjoy, that open world PvP. But every now and then you'll get that one like, man, I'm just trying to get this rune. Please don't mess with me. And it's somehow like they hear you and they just kind of like help you kill whatever mob you need to kill. And then you kill your mob, you're like, hey, thanks. And then they kill you, and I'm like, oh, at least they were nice about it,
Yeah. Yeah. Like case in point with that too is before that, like yesterday, I was doing the Dark Rider quest, and I had that group of 5 that were doing the Dark Rider, and not only were they doing Dark Rider and just ganging people of the opposing faction, they hunted me down afterwards because I almost killed their rogue friend because I was like Living Flame, like Frost Mage, and just like Living Flame the rogue, blocked twice and almost killed him or whatever. He got mad about that and apparently had a vendetta against me and hunted me down for 2 hours afterwards. And yeah. So he just like made sure
Why did you
that
just
my life was
change
anyone.
layers? Like you had the option.
I should have.
I know.
Well, I was on
That's
2 accounts, so I was doing stuff with my Alliance Mage too. So it's like whatever.
see, as soon as they beat me twice, I'm like, all right, you bested me. I'm just gonna go ahead and bounce to the next layer.
See, and that was the worst part too, is I wasn't even actively playing that character. I was like, like I spawned every like 30 minutes or whatever. So the dude was like hunting me down like actively with 5 people. I was like, this is weird. Sure, whatever.
Well, I've got an opposite story. My friend's Zunder, he was on the podcast, I don't know, a month and a half ago. He came back, right? And he's working up a lock. His lock was level 35. We had another level 40 lock. We had Bayman, a level 40 enhanced chamois, and we had me. I was on my warrior, level 40, but not geared. And we roll up. We roll up to get the Arathi Highland Dark Rider. Zunder's still back, like not caught up to us. Like he's on the flight path coming. We're like standing there. Another pug comes up. We invite him, like a pug horde, but there's a 5-man group of 40s alliance just across from us waiting too. Right? I think one of them was level 39 actually, but the rest of them 40. And the pug, as soon as he gets in our group, calls, like we didn't have a chance to tell, we're waiting on a dude, calls the dark rider in. We're like, crap. We kick him from the group and we leave. We like literally leave him. And he solos the dark rider and kills it. We're like, God damn it. But the allies didn't attack him. And he just solos it. And we come back and we're like, fucking the one guy, the one lock that did need it grabs it. But then Zunder doesn't have it. So then we're sitting there. We're still 4-man. Zunder gets there. He's level 35. We got 3 40s. So then my shaman friend walks over and starts dropping totems on the group of 5 alliance. And they're just still not doing shit. And then like he drops a flame totem that shoots him. And they just move. And we're like, okay, well, I guess they don't want to fight. So we sit there and wait there. And then they summoned, I guess they were waiting in line. They summoned the Dark Rider. And everybody's like, are we going to do it? And I'm like, fuck yeah, we're doing it. And I go right in, charge in.
Oh my God.
We wipe them, and like 2 of us die, the other 2 lives. Zunder's able to like loot his thing, and then we come back and we res, and they don't do shit to us. Okay, the shaman Bayman did come back and res. They killed him once, but then the rest of us resed. We mounted up and just rode off, and they didn't do anything. It's so funny how people pick and choose. They're like, are these horde crazy? Because I really want to just get this done, and I really don't want to fuck with them coming back and forth and rezzing on us when we're trying to kill. Like, it's so funny.
Or they were just
Every
really bad.
PvP interaction is different. You never know. That's what I really like about it. It's like,
You
do I
guys have
attack
had a
this guy
very
or do I
different
not?
experience.
What'd you
It's
say,
it's
Obi?
truly, yeah.
I'm saying you guys have had a very different experience. Maybe Australians are just a bunch of assholes, but we
I've
love
heard.
to ruin each other's afternoon. It's just they're like the best example, right? Is I'm a rogue. I go into somewhere where we're questing, and I find an alliance there, and they're killing some mobs. And it's like I wave at them just as I could have killed you, bro. And then they'll like wave at me. I'll go pull 2 mobs. They'll drink, and then they'll kill me. It's like, okay, this is a very fast way to be on my kill on sight list forever.
Right.
And I'm one of those petty people. If you wrong me once, you're added to my list, and I will kill you on sight, like the list tells me to, for the remainder of this fucking game.
Do
Like,
you
and
use
I
spy?
think everyone down here is like that. Yeah. We use
Dude,
everyone down here has spy, and
I have spy,
kill on sight
definitely.
list.
And like, if you're on my kill on sight list, you have either jumped me while I'm on mobs.
You need
have
to re-download Spy,
like
dude.
you've come back and tried to kill me multiple times. Like, it's like if I find somebody straight up and we just like we're cool, or like a group, like I don't put anybody on that. Like, you've got to be a dick to get on that. And then when I hear that, like when I'm at STV and that noise, that different noise for the kill on sight, I'm like, where's he at? Where's he at? Let me at him. Like, I mean,
I'm a pretty big like pacifist, and then if you're on my list, you can't complain that you're on my list because you were a. There would be many Australian words to describe another human.
Dude.
Here. They are a massive C something, and
You
that's
earned
why they're
that
on my
spot.
list.
hey, you can say whatever you want here. Like, yeah, you could like Josh drops cunt about every other word when he comes on the podcast.
I'm bad. If I run into one of these people, I'm like, that's it. Neither of us are leveling for the next hour until someone quits. We will just fight and fight and fight, and I don't care. I'll waste my afternoon to waste theirs.
I'm very
They're on my list.
I am
board with
literally
That's me.
I am literally that, and it kills Mel. It pisses her off so
Oh my
bad.
God.
She's like,
I'm like,
Bobby,
we had a mission. Can we just move on? And he's like, nope. I'm like,
We're not
"All
being
right, well, I'm
productive.
moving
I don't
on."
care. This guy pissed me off.
Yeah.
Even if I'm leveling at all, I move my main to the same zone that I know I'm going to quest in for the next few days, and just in case the assholes are level 40, and then I'll go on my main and just fight them. And I'm like, that's it. I'm not even playing my ult anymore today.
Oh,
I'm
man.
just gonna fight them.
Every time I have to hit level in Hills, Brad, I have to move my main over to hang out there for a minute. Because there's
Oh,
always like
yeah.
a couple level 40s that are just hanging out just to pick on the low guys, you know?
Yeah, the
Mhm.
Alliance love to defend those farms. They're so passionate
Oh my
about it.
God.
Dude, as somebody who plays 2 accounts, it's the most toxic thing ever because I'm like, oh, I can AFK my second account for like a couple hours. I got time. Like, let's send this. I will waste my time camping you.
Let me,
Just like give up on playing a second account.
I will at a point though. Like, if I've come back and this, like, it's and it doesn't happen a lot. Like, I really dumpster a lot of people in the open world. Like, it's pretty much like, it's usually like 90-10. But then that 10%, they'll dumpster me like 4 times. I'm like, all right.
You win.
You have bested me. We have been weighed. We have been matched, and I've been found wanting.
Just on the 4th try.
I will leave your lair. But like, I want to make them leave my lair. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
No, never leave your tail between your legs. No matter what, you can be injured.
I do. I mean, sometimes it's just like, wow, what the fuck was that? Like, I don't like.
It doesn't even matter if it's like a party of them. Like 4 Alliance could come gank me to take control of like the Furbolg village or something. and I'll just hang around in stealth knowing that one of them's going to stray too far from the pack, and I'll kill one of their friends, and even if the other 3 kill me, I go, it doesn't matter, you shitters, there's 4 of you and one of you still died.
Dude,
Like,
I'll
that's
just
how-
rogue.
so in
The
that
rogue never give up.
situation,
Yeah.
that's it.
In that situation, I'll just keep being annoying. Like I'll keep sapping one,
Yeah.
and then just like
Yeah,
wasting their
you
time.
just tap him when he's shrinking,
Like-
and then just wait from the pool, like
Yeah,
stop
like,
the healer.
Sorry,
sap-
were
Yeah.
we talking
like,
about
sap the
why
heal, like-
rogues weren't loved earlier? Is this something that we were
Hey,
wondering
hey,
it's
why
just a
people don't have any
flash wound.
love?
I
It's
didn't
elite
start
rogue.
any of these fights, all right?
It's just a flesh wound. I've had
Stand up for
worse.
yourself. Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. That's great. All right. All right. So phase the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about here was phase 3 prep. And what a lot of people are probably doing, and I'm curious. We haven't talked about it on the pod. We've talked about it a bunch on stream and stuff, but like there's people that are saving their student fodder, which are the 7 items that you got that give you 4 bars of rested XP. You get them through the sleeping bag quest line.
Those people are going to be so sad.
There's been people that have saved those. There's been people that are saving honor tokens from STV, thinking they could just like rank their honor up right at the start of the next phase. Like, do you I'm pretty sure they're gonna, it doesn't say it on the tooltips, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna make these things not work. Like
I
for
agree.
next phase.
Mine. I kept mine just in case.
I
I,
guarantee the fodder doesn't work after 40. I think
I
it'll
don't know
work
about that one.
until 40. I guarantee. There's no way. Like, I just feel like Blizzard is not going to allow those people that min-maxed and just dungeon spammed all the way to 40 who now have all the fodders, because that's the majority of the people that have all the fodders, right? Are the people that were real sweaty at the beginning and dungeon grinded and didn't go do the sleeping bag quest. And then anybody's ult, like I think they will make them cap out at 40, and I think that they will not work after
Yeah,
40.
and
It's not
Go.
my fault that they were too weak to sit in Cath for another 12 hours and left to go do their sleeping bag quest.
To be honest, as somebody who leveled 4 mages, I have all of mine in the bank on all my mages because it's XP loss to go and doing the quest. So I don't think it's gonna work after 40, and I think I'm just screwed on it. But
there's also other implications for them too. Like, I don't know if anybody has just forgotten this or just
it heals a lot.
It fully heals, full mana, full everything when you take one. So like, I'm surprised speedrunners haven't used them. Like, if they're really serious, like working up another character, if they use theirs, like I mean, you could really just negate a ton of stuff because you take one and it gets you full mana, like it's like literally like a Final Fantasy mega elixir. Like you're just full everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think it does rage for like warriors and stuff, but still like that's a thing. But I like Dizzy Peasy in chat points out that they nerfed Warsaw Goldschmarks like 2 days before P2. I really think Mel's right. They're really trying to stop the min-maxers from doing the weird shit. Like, and I think that these aren't going to work.
To be fair, like those people are going to get to 50 before anybody else anyways. Like they don't need the extra fodders to help them get to 50. And everybody, like, I don't think Blizzard wants to punish people who did use them last phase to not have them again.
Field. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now there might be another quest that you get more for phase 3, right? Like a different quest where you get something else. I think the sleeping bag will work in phase 3. I do think that.
Yeah, probably. It's worthless now, everybody. Like, it's literally just snuggle time.
Make it relevant, yeah.
Well, didn't they come out and say that they wanted to incorporate the leveling buff, the 100% XP increase for next phase. So I have a feeling like 1 through 49 is going to be, the XP buff and all that.
Oh god,
And
I hope
think they
that's.
meant.
I hope
I
that's.
think they meant like we would get 1 to 39 XP buff next phase, not that we're going to have an XP buff for the beginning of next phase.
I hope we
Yeah,
do.
I don't think so.
I
Yeah.
hope we do.
I feel that.
I think they're going to give us 100% buff. They're going to keep it through
Yeah, I think
40.
I think they will too, because like they realize like at the first phase, like everybody had all these alts. It's like, well, we don't want to force people to choose like their top 2 or 3 to bring to the next phase. Why not just have them play as many characters as they can?
I mean, you're gonna have to choose though.
Yeah,
I mean, unless
at
they
some point
change.
you will have to.
Yeah, unless they change the way you get runes. Like Scotty J had a great idea where you could use the I forget the name of the rep, but the new rep for the you get the boxes and fill them. Like he was like, maybe you could just buy those, instead of but you could still go get them if you had friends to come help you. But there's not going to be any alts with the
you'd have to level gate them.
runes.
You'd have to level gate them, right? Like you could buy, Wild Growth or Starfire, or what is it?
They definitely need to make a catch-up system for some of this stuff, but they need to make sure they moderate it pretty well.
Yeah, but if
you
they
can buy
don't,
Star Surge, but you can't buy Star Surge until level 20.
Yeah.
Or you can go get it at level 2 if you want to. You know what I mean?
If they don't make a catch-up, like a rune catch-up system, it's not going to matter how fast you level or how much they boost your leveling experience. It's going to take you. It's going to take you fucking 20 hours to walk everywhere for the runes that you need to get at level 60. So
that's something I experienced too with the kind of playing behind this situation of the bans and whatever. Is I've been doing the Dark Riders quest relevantly lately and whatnot and stuff like that. And a lot of people are just hyper complaining about stuff of wow, they really should make this if you leveled a mage and did this rune, you should have it on every mage at least, or if you did it on little things like that, and it goes to the point where we're how far do you go with that? Of is it just you did the Dark Riders quest on a character, does it go to all your alts, or you did it on a mage, does it go to every mage? Where do you go for that?
An account bind class item or whatever, something like that. Oh,
so
man,
people are already kind of talking about that at this point. It's heavily debatable where you go and where you stop it. So
people that are leveling multiple of the same class are the sweaty enough people that can go find their runes again. Okay, there's no casual out there well, I was trying to level my 3rd mage and I just couldn't get a group for all my runes. No, get out of here.
But they want people to come in now. They want new people to come in now, right?
But they're talking about bind on account runes. Come on.
Where Mel is coming at it right now, right? It's not necessarily that crowd. It's future content is where it's kind of getting at. It's not necessarily in the means we're having that concept of debate right now where I'm talking with people they're doing the same runes as me on alts and stuff, but it's it's going to get more and more talked about and more debatable later on, if that makes sense, where the phase is going. So I was where do they go on? But you're right, you're 100% right on that.
People that level the same class are very sweaty people typically, or people that have a lot of time that really like one class, right? There's no casual leveling 3 of the same class. There's just not.
I don't. Well, the thing is, where do you go with alts with it, though?
What?
I said, Mel, I'm right here. All right. I only have 2 shamans. Please. You don't got to target me.
I'm only at 2.
Then Ubi was going to say something
too.
Good.
It's just I don't understand. I'm in that boat of having 3 rogues, and they'll be 40 soon. But I'm not going to complain about.
You're a masochist.
Chore that takes. It's I don't want to do this quest line that takes 2 hours for a 3rd time. And it's dude, you're playing these characters for like days and days of time. What's
Right.
repeating a 2-hour chore one more time? It's not that bad. They just want shit fast and for free. And
Well,
Yeah.
that's the more like subsidable like stance on it. It's more like, hey, this is my 5th character I'm leveling. Can I not do Dark Riders for the 5th time? Is more where it gets around.
Dark
You know,
Riders
like,
takes a long time.
You know,
But, I
like
mean,
that's kind of where I'm
Are
at
you
with
also
it. That's where a
complaining,
lot of
like,
people
why
are.
not if you have one character at 40, you get another, like, your next character goes to 40? Like, it's such a slippery slope. Like, what quest do you not want to do again?
Fuck yeah.
Like, you don't want to do Dark Riders again, but you also, you don't want to go through Stranglethorn again ever? Like, I've already done that once. Don't make me do it again.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
everything
I
you're
don't think it's
doing is
that-
repetitive.
Yeah,
It's more so just
But-
like going in the future. Like next phase is what they're gonna do with it. Is where a lot of people are kind of standing at. It's like, oh, I'm leveling it all. Do I have to do Dark Riders at 50 again and go do this rune and like run all over the map kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm thinking for
Is
all
where a lot of people are.
and for people that are just like, oh shit, I missed out.
Right now, I don't
I'll
see an
jump
argument
in.
against it. You might as well do it. It's a lot of gold. Nobody should be complaining about it, honestly, because it's like it funds your mount. It just works.
I don't think rogues need to, right?
No, it's waylay. It's terrible.
It's horrible.
You use it against druids in PvP. That's like the only time you ever use it.
I don't
Yeah.
think druids need it either, right? Healing druids?
There's a lot of people that don't need it. It's for mages it's good, but only for PvP really. Maybe mage healer. I think mage healer uses it too, but it's missile barrage. So,
Yeah, I can tell you, shamans don't need it. I mean, the dual wield still beats two-handed by a long shot. But if you want to live out that two-handed fantasy, go for it.
Staff for Jordan. Let's go.
Do
Yeah, that's
you?
right. That's right. Yeah, I went for it just in case.
Well, that's where a lot of people are probably at too. That you're like, for me, I'm fucking basically a masochist at this point. I've been loving so many tins lately, but you might as well, if you're just waiting around for the next phase and like new content and stuff like that, to just like get the runes that you're not even going to use at this point because they couldn't change them, buff them, or whatever.
Or you start pre-questing,
That's
for next
the big
phase.
play. Probably was
Guys,
it? That's
I
the
had
next.
so much fun
we're
pre-questing
gonna
in
talk
phase
about?
1 for phase
It was
2.
so much fun pre-questing in phase 1, but unfortunately, like only Black Smoke isn't doing the pre-quest stack, so now we have to figure out our own pre-quest stack.
Only?
But it was so much fun doing the pre-quests. It was
Yeah.
so much fun. Like we did it in groups of 5 because they were so much higher like level than us, and PvP
done
through it.
the,
Like
the Tenera stuff or whatever, or Gadazan, or I guess, or whatever.
I don't think we've done
No.
any of it.
nope.
No, I see. I went over there to try it out to just farm because the mobs are high level, like the pirates and stuff. And there's a lot of people doing that. And there's like a hunter solo farm, obviously, that's over there because they can hit the higher level mobs and whatnot. Like I think Jerome has a video about it. So
You're talking about the pirates in the bay in Teneris?
the usual mage farm where they go over there.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I'm leveling my mage right now.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Well, okay, but the honor tokens though, like from STV,
No way.
I feel like there's no way they can allow those to go.
They won't, because you can, if you try really hard and like you're that bothered to just smash out STVs all this phase, you should be able to store so much honor that you'll get to rank 14 without ever killing. Well, actually, I did hear a story that someone handed in a heap of their tokens, but they didn't actually get 15 honorable kills that week. So
Yeah.
it didn't bring them up.
Oh my God. That's insane.
damn!
Yeah,
That's
I got
the
told a
check right
story
there.
by Jordy.
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
You'll be able to store so many of those. You could get to rank 14 just getting 15 kills a week thereafter, probably.
Honestly,
So-
without the decay system, the ranking doesn't matter at all. Like, they don't need to pay attention to that or worry about it at all. Like, my Horde Mage, I did the amount of BGs that I did with Bob just to have fun and just world PvP, and I got to rank 4 with, like, I think 20% or something from the first week, and I was 0. Like, that's how easily you can rank up. And I got,
It'll get a lot harder later though. Like if you want to get to rank 14,
definitely,
there will be weeks you got to commit. But I'd rather see people go back to doing BGs than just eating these tokens in their bag like
Yeah,
each week or whatever. So
Well, do
Definitely.
you though? Like, because like I'm glad that like the people that don't like to do the BGs are not doing the BGs, because I hate those people, because they're the ones
I
that
don't
just
think it
sit
needs to
there
be
and
forced.
AFK.
Yeah,
yeah,
it definitely
but
is slightly forced though right now because the bracers.
at that very top end, like to get rank 14, that's a lot of time to be a nuisance in battlegrounds and get reported and shit like that. So I don't mind, and you can already see the fact that you don't have to do AB for rep, you don't have to do Warsong Gulch for rep. The queue times are getting a bit longer, which is what they were kind of worried about.
They are getting longer. I was just like, whoa.
And
Yeah.
no one
10-minute
needs honor.
queue?
Like I got my rank 5 with silver coins because I just couldn't be asked being a rogue in battlegrounds, like on my own.
Dude, honestly, Basin as a rogue is my favorite thing in the world.
I
but
love
yeah.
Basin as a solo rogue. I have so much fun.
Good.
But just the efficiency of STV was so much honor so quick.
It's
and
way
Yep.
more efficient. Yeah.
I just
Definitely.
did it. Like I got the 10k or whatever the hell it was, and in a couple of STVs.
Which is funny too. It's like the same concept for STV with like Basin. Like Basin, you can almost like solo carry. You just like have fun. It's all about you just like playing personally. And the same thing for STV too. Like
Dude,
STV, you can just
S
solo gank, wait for someone to get low, ambush them, or like come out with just even a mutilate, which is about the same amount of damage.
Well, like what's crazy is STV, like there's different strategies to do different things, but it's amazing how much coins. Like I got 34 silver coins in 3 STVs. One of them was
Dude, the
like
meta is insane.
this
in
is
STV right
on
now.
this was on my like green ungeared warrior. Like we did melee cleave where we just stood in a little corner waiting for people to run and turn in, and we just cleaved people as they walked by turning in. Like there's a strategy for like everybody. Yeah, Oprah Winfrey's in chat.
You're welcome.
He's the one that showed me that.
He
but
plays a
it's
shaman, right?
there's always a strategy, and like it's like you can find it, but people like you do have to find a group. Like people want to go and do this by themselves.
Bands is
Classic
always
Go
better.
usually wants to go and do solo, and like it's an MMO.
Dude, Loop is pumping. And the last time I checked him out.
Yeah. Do you think that I'm sorry if you guys talked about this. I went to the bathroom, but do you think that because of STV, that's why BGs have slowed down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
It's definitely a part in it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'll
People are
do.
getting their fix, and there's more rewards.
Like
for it.
imagine waiting around and then just for STV and just like doing that instead.
Oh yeah, I mean, people usually start grouping up about 30 minutes before the event starts, and then during that time, if your group is all together, you just head out and you stand on a road or in the mid, waiting for that boss call out, and you're waxing the opposing faction until the game starts. There's your 15 kills, and then you just get 1,400 copper coins, and then you turn it in. It's like, oh, here's my honor for the week.
Right.
It's definitely a playing field, especially with the increased queue times. Like if you have somebody who's dealing with that, they're like, oh wait, do I queue for this and like wait 15 minutes, or do I just wait around and just like get a group for this and then be more efficient about it? Because I want to say it's 100% more efficient to do SCV over Battlegrounds, definitely.
I just
outside
have
the
fun.
weekends maybe.
I just have fun in AB. Like I just enjoy doing it.
Well, I think not Altar Basin, Altar Valley, Altar Basin, whatever. Arathi Basin, I think is the the best battleground out there. It's my personal favorite, but
Same.
I think honor, like if you're trying to have fun, I'll do Arathi Basin. If I'm trying to get honor, I'm going to do Stranglethorn.
A lot of the player base really doesn't like Basin at all, too, which is really funny.
Yeah, it's weird to me.
I know.
Like,
it's weird.
Okay.
Like, what is it? Bob Butters or whatever. I try to get him into it. He's like, yeah, I want to get my PvP trinket. Like, we're like running around world PvPing, ran into Bobka or whatever. It's like, yeah, like I kind of want to get my PvP trinket so I can like fight rogues and stuff. I'm like, yeah, dude, let's queue Basin. He queue one Basin. He's like, I'm never logging on again after one. I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't even that bad of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
basically at
it's
least
just really
ends.
not appealing.
Like,
Well, that was my biggest thing that I told him too. I was like, dude, at least because he wanted to queue Warsong, obviously. It's like, hey, let's queue Warsong. I'm like, dude, Warsong can be bad because I think it was Warsong weekend at that time, and I'm like, there are stalemates. Like you ranking stalemates and Warsong are bad. You can be in there for ungodly hours if you don't AFK out. People can just like hold grudges, and it's like we're holding our flag here, we're stalemate here, you know. So
yeah, and unfortunately, what I called right when everybody was complaining about the fucking the pre-mains is happening now. Groups queuing same time, getting in the same game is happening
Discord
all
servers.
over again, and like now it's even easier for them to fucking dumpster you in that way, and it's just like. Like
I don't like that at all.
we're literally living through what we lived through in TBC.
The Alliance AV meta where people are sending discords, hey, what's your queue pop? We got Warsong 4, we got Warsong 5.
Yep. Oh, that's 5, not 55, Ubi. Yeah, so okay, well, I think this has been a good show. I think we covered some stuff, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments and everything. But we're gonna start closing out the show because Mel needs her epic helm. So don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Masters Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you'd like to email us, the email address is wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join the Discord, it's warcraftreloaded.com/discord. If you would like to call in with a voicemail, the number is 816-866-1066. Or if you're outside of the US, you could do speakpipe.com/warcraftreloaded. Bring those voicemails. They spark a lot of conversation and they're a good time. How can you help us out? Spotify stars, iTunes stars, subbing to our YouTube helps a ton too. All of those things help. You can find our Patreon at warcraftreloaded.com, and you can find all the other links there too. And yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this show. Mel, where can we find you?
You can find me on Crusader Strike and Mel Arena. That's pretty much it. Sometimes I hang out on Bob's stream. Sometimes I'm on the podcast. I'm never tagged in Twitter. You know. Whatever.
All right, Cass, where can we find you?
Pretty much the same as Mel. I'll be in a lot of different like Twitch chats. I'm not doing any content right now, but I might be doing some soon, maybe. I don't know.
Cool.
But yeah.
All right. And
Journey that and then Crusader Strike.
Sweet. And Ziimm, where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm on Lone Wolf US. Multiple tunes there, all starting with Ziimm, and I, Twitch stream intermittently. So see y'all online.
Awesome. And Ubi, where can we find you?
I'm DB Cobber on on Crusader Strike, and otherwise my other two ubiquitous and ubiquitous are on Shadow Strike.
Is that Crusader Strike US or EU?
US. So
US. Okay.
I've gone from 30 to 33 during this pod, so good session.
Nice.
Oh,
Good job.
Are you Alliance or Horde?
Undead Rogue, of course, the only option.
Well, you're on. Oh, we need to hit each other up. I'm leveling right now.
Yeah, you should join up in Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be around. This is pretty much the only thing I do, and if I'm not doing Gnomer on the main on the other server, so yeah, I'll be 40 probably in a couple of days. So
nice. Couple of hours.
Very fast with this buff.
And you can find me on Twitter at blazin_bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find me on Twitch at blazinbob. And yeah, we're going to get out of here, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.